This is all about don'ts. Don't spin the tires, don't run out of gas, and don't screw up.
Keselowski shoving him the length of the front straightaway. Last lap.
Here comes Denny Hamlin. He'll go on the Hamlin. This could get big.
Winless streak over. Carl Edwards wins. The backflip is back. Atop the dusty plains of Rattlesnake Hill. Short track racing on the mile in the desert.
You're sitting on pins and needles.
From the rain in Daytona to the Arizona desert, we welcome you to NASCAR on Fox. We're live just outside Phoenix for the second race of the season. Sprint Cup Racing on Fox presented by KFC. How do you, KFC? The weather terrific. Getting ready to go around this 1 mile track. And on Academy Awards Sunday, there's your leading man, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Who else will step up in a starring role among America's best drivers? We welcome you trackside along with Darrell Waltrip, Michael Waltrip, Chris Myers, and glad to have you along with us. And of course, Junior looking for the first time in his career to win back-to-back races in the 88 car. But Jimmy Johnson says going from the Daytona 500 to here, now the real test begins. What does he mean by that?
This is a driver's racetrack. You got to get up on the wheel. You got to drive it. You got to take finesse. Got to be able to work the throttle, work the brake. It's all about the driver.
Last week was our Super Bowl, and this is a regular season. You got to block, you got to tackle, you got to make sure you do everything right. You got to be a thinking man to win at Daytona. Here, it's physical. These cars are faster than they've ever been, and they're more difficult to drive than they've ever been, and the competition is tighter than ever.
500 kilometers, right, which is 312 miles. Now let's check on the storylines. And Kyle Busch dominated yesterday's Nationwide Series race. It was shortened because of rain. He's won this race 3 straight times in Phoenix. Nobody's ever done that before. And Kevin Harvick in a junior motorsports car finished second to Kyle, who we'll see today. On Friday, Keselowski, that's Brad Keselowski, had the fastest time in qualifying. He was also on the pole for that Nationwide race. He's on the front row in a Roger Penske Ford along with Joey Logano. For Dale Earnhardt Jr., Sunday's Daytona 500 win was well worth the wait. You could see the emotion in victory lane from him. You could feel his excitement throughout the week, and to the victor went the spotlight. It's been a whirlwind week for Dale Earnhardt Jr. After winning on the track in the Daytona 500, he raced off the track, going on the Daytona 500 Champions Tour. NASCAR's most popular driver headed up the East Coast on Monday, making appearances on numerous national shows and ending the night as a guest on Late Night with David Letterman in New York City. Tuesday, the two-time Daytona champ made his way to Connecticut, then traveled nearly 1,900 miles to Texas Motor Speedway. On Wednesday, Dale went way west to Los Angeles to check in with Extra at Universal Studios Hollywood before finally arriving at our very own Fox Network Center in Los Angeles to spend some time on Fox Sports 1.
All right, we'll see you in Phoenix.
As you can tell, Dale Earnhardt Jr. very busy in the days after that big win. When he stopped by and visited with us, we had him stop, look, and listen.
You're going to do it. You're going to win.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Here comes Earnhardt.
Check the flag. You win. Oh, yeah!
Junior is the heir apparent.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the face of NASCAR.
Junior Nation is everywhere.
I can't believe it.
He has been fast all weekend
You
long.
know, the Earnhardt name carries a lot of weight for a long time.
Are you having fun? It's kind of fun out there. Yeah, but this is for a big prize, man. Not to be nervous. It's hard to enjoy it. The entire experience is driving me crazy.
Yeah, that's just me and Steve trying to have some kind of conversation and knock the butterflies off. As it got closer and closer to the end, you know, it's serious. It's for the Daytona 500. You don't get many chances to win that race, and there we were with the perfect opportunity.
Keep coming, bud. You're going to do it. You're going to win it. Wait,
that's just, you come out of your frame when you win that race. I don't have enough words really to sort of help someone understand what that feels like. You explode, really. Your insides just explode and all this, emotion comes out. Screaming and shouting and talking. I was, driving down the front straightaway after the race with the checkered flag. The fans pressed up against the fence. The energy, and the electricity coming off of that crowd, that was pushing more and more emotion out of me and more excitement out of me, making me proud, to have accomplished what I've accomplished. Imagine winning the lottery. $300 million just lands in your lap. What would you feel?
I can't believe this. This is better than the first one.
When I won the first one, I was only 5 years into my Cup career. I might have won it too soon. My father, Darrell Waltrip, spent 18, 20 years trying to win this race. Rusty Wallace and Mark Martin ran their whole careers without experiencing victory at the Daytona 500. I was glad to get one and say I've done it, but I was so relieved that really overrode every other emotion that I had. And this win, it was pure joy, just pure joy. No relief, just joy, happiness.
Some profound thoughts from Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting ready for the race today. On the audio board looked like a DJ there, Sir Mix-a-Lot, kind of putting it together. But Darrell, just looking at the wins, now a two-time Daytona 500 champ, so championship next on his checklist. And he said this week, this is our time. Yeah, well, the first thing is so obvious to me. He's pretty happy with himself. I mean, it's a great accomplishment. Look where you win the Daytona 500, you go on a media tour. You don't do that any other race. You get that great big old trophy, you get a great big old check. And that's his second one. And so I think that's just he said it perfectly. Relief. But that victory circle celebration, Michael, he's running around hugging everybody. I love you, man. It doesn't get any better than that.
And Chris, the job that he did to win the race, a green-white checkered, he had to fight off a hungry pack coming after him. I think that meant a lot to him as well. He knew that he brought his A game on the day when it mattered the most. I loved his emotion, but I loved the job he did behind the wheel of that race car.
Yeah, he's been so close many times before, but something went wrong or he made a wrong move this time. He played it perfectly for his 20th career win and maybe the biggest, the most important until that championship comes. Here's what's coming up around the turn, brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Denny Hamlin is going places, coming off a rough season last year physically, and once he even tried to come back, but the 11 car looks like it's back with Denny behind the wheel. Jeff Gordon had some fun at Daytona, but we'll show you how he took on a blogger who doubted one of his skits from last year. This thing's really gone viral. We'll chat more with Junior from the track, Michael, the grid walk with fans as well, plus Gas and Go. You're watching NASCAR on Fox. Across the Arizona Cactus League, baseball players jog side by side through the outfield before they take on the competition. We're going to see some different side-by-side racing. How about this guy? Super Bowl quarterback Russell Wilson going to stop by the Texas Rangers camp. Omaha. Back to his Seattle teammates. Came out to talk to Casey Kane and take in the race yesterday. Denny Hamlin knows what can happen as a result of side-by-side racing. A wreck forced him to miss 4 races last year with a back injury. Now, he won 2 preliminary races during speed weeks in Daytona, then finished second in the Daytona 500, proving he's making a comeback with a much stronger back.
Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin are going to settle this right now. Teammates last year, rivals this year. Logano! Side by side! They touch! Logano the ball! Hamlin spins down the racetrack.
Thought I heard something pop. I wasn't sure to the extent of how bad it was.
Hard impact on the 11 car, head on. I don't like the looks of that.
I couldn't remember being in any worse pain. I knew that there was something majorly wrong. I wasn't going to be back anytime soon. When you try to make the recovery process go by, it's tough because you feel relatively normal, but you know that you're not able to do the things that you could do before. Richmond was, the ultimate low point. Just had no feeling of the race car. I was nowhere near what I was as a driver before the accident. Homestead kind of came out of the blue. It was the first race that I really felt like my old self again.
Denny Hamlin trying to put an exclamation point on a horrible season.
Denny Hamlin has won here in Homestead.
Exactly what this guy needed.
After really a dismal 2013, this would really change things for us. It turns such a negative year into somewhat of a positive where you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Every time you go to Speed Weeks, you know it's 50-50 shot whether you're going to come out of there without a dismal finish in one of the races.
Denny Hamlin wins the Sprint Unlimited.
It was almost like destiny that where we found ourselves in the right place at the right time in that race.
Denny Hamlin has not lost a race this week.
The most important thing that came out of 2013 is that when it came down to it and I got back healthy again, we could find our old form.
What a move by Hamlin.
Wow, what a display of power by Denny Hamlin.
When you can stick together through the bad times, typically makes you pretty strong when you get to the good times. And, hopefully 2014 is that for us.
Yeah, in a weird way, the injury may have mellowed him, but the competitive chip, you can see it on his shoulder right there if you look closely. That has not left him. And Michael, you hang out with him quite a bit, but he's on a roll. He's got momentum on his side.
Well, he won the last race of 2013, Chris. That was after a lot of rehab and working really hard in the gym to get his body where he needed it to be to go out and contend week in and week out. He didn't see a whole lot of results prior to Homestead and winning that last race. And when they got that victory, it motivated him. It motivated that whole team to charge into 14. We saw the way they performed at Speed Weeks in Daytona, and don't be surprised to see him in victory lane here today. They've got a great attitude around that team. They're inspired. They want to be the comeback story of 2014.
I've seen the greatest drivers in this sport try to race hurt. It never works out. Get out of the car, get yourself well, rehab like Michael said, and you are going to be shocked when you go through the rehab and you do all the work and you get back in that race car. You're going to feel the best you've ever felt in your career, and you're going to get the best results you've ever gotten in your career.
Denny Hamlin won this race in, a couple of years ago. Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon, a two-time winner here at Phoenix. Now Jeff might win an Oscar for his performance in a Pepsi Max video. It went viral last year. Not everybody believed that was real, so this year Jeff was out for revenge, playing the role of an ex-convict cab driver.
No, sir. Please! No! Sorry, man. Sir, just unlock the door and let me out.
Come on out, buddy. I'm Jeff Gordon.
He scared that guy, that blogger. 10 million views on YouTube in less than 3 days.
It reminded me of some of my younger days in Owensboro, Michael.
When I got my license in Owensboro, the cops said, we're not going to chase you around like we did your brother.
All right, we're going to let you head out to the grid to talk with drivers, as you usually do, the Michael Waltrip Grid Walk, right? But coming up, Daryl and I will continue, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. will talk about what a victory does when you go on Twitter. He'll respond to some tweets. I think that's OMG or LOL. Well, you're watching NASCAR on Fox. NASCAR on Fox pre-race show is sponsored by KFC. So many ways to KFC. How do you, KFC? Counting it out of the start of the race here in Phoenix, 312 miles, that's 500 kilometers. How did Brad Keselowski win the pole for this race? Well, he had the two knockout rounds of qualifying, that new system that, for him at least, it was an unqualified success. The 2014 Daytona 500 will be famous for what took place on the track, in cyberspace, and in social media, where people are still tweeting about what happened.
The race has been red flagged temporarily.
It's been an exciting day on the social sphere, if you will. Harvick has got Keelan, in his driver's suit.
And here we go. Green flag, 2 laps.
He's gonna win.
But that 88 is coming on.
My heart's beating so
Less than a mile to go. Third generation star, Dale Earnhardt Jr. brings him to the flag. Checkered flag waving. It's over. It's Earnhardt.
It's happy tears.
Look at him. He's like a little kid in there.
I click on to Twitter and Instagram, and I see Dale Jr. making an appearance.
Yeah.
Are you coming aboard?
I think maybe if I win the Daytona 500, I might come on board. Jimmy showed me the ropes, and I think he's pretty good at it, right? So
Totally good at it.
So he's all over it, and I'm trying to learn. If I'm going to jump in, I'm going to have a good teacher.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins his second Daytona 500, and you spent the week doing media all across the country and joined Twitter, which was fun. But what was the single most important thing about that victory for you and your team? Is it confidence?
Making the chase, having a chance to run for the championship. That's the most important thing. You work all year long to try to get there and have a shot at it. So we want another shot at it.
Dale, I read when you talked to the media this week, you said you really enjoyed this week, but is it down to business right now?
Yeah, we're back to zero. Somebody's going to try to come out of here a winner, and we want to be that team. And what you did last week, it's quickly forgotten once you get back on the racetrack somewhere else. And you got to keep going to work every week. And as much as we're happy and we'll celebrate with our family when we get home, we got things to do, and it starts here at Phoenix.
What was the coolest thing that happened? I mean, being a Redskins fan, I would say RG3 congratulating you. How about for you when you joined Twitter?
Definitely getting the congratulations from guys like RG3 and Ryan Kerrigan. Felt great, meant a lot to me. Getting the congratulations from my peers. Anytime those guys do that publicly, it's pretty special. Going on Letterman was a lot of fun. When I first won the Daytona 500 in 2004, I did donuts in the street outside the building. They didn't let me on the couch, so it was cool to be on the couch this time.
All right, buddy, good luck today. Dale Earnhardt Jr., 2 top 5 finishes last year here at Phoenix.
Over 550,000 followers on Twitter for Junior. He mentioned Jimmy Johnson. He's talking about tweeting, who's right at that number. Danica Patrick, over 1 million, leads all NASCAR drivers and top female in sports as far as Twitter followers go. Today, we'll take a look at how, speaking of Danica, how Ricky Stenhouse Jr. gets ready for race day, presented by KFC. Show us how you do it. Use hashtag #HowDoYouKFC, and you might be featured later in today's race.
Hey y'all, it's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. here. We're at Phoenix, and I'm gonna give you a little tip of how I get prepared for the race. I start out by putting my whole suit on. When I get to the car, I try to do it the same every single time. Put my steering wheel on, go to my earplugs, put the right one in first, then the left one. After that, I put my chapstick on, grab some chewy sweet tarts, and then we're ready to go.
Thanks, Ricky. Good luck today. Coming up, gas and go, fast speeds at a slow walk. Michael Waltrip on the grid. Remember last week he ran into 50 Cent. Who will he talk to today? We welcome you back. NASCAR on Fox, just outside Phoenix, Arizona, getting ready to go racing. Inside our studio with Darrell Waltrip, I'm Chris Myers. Glad to have you watching. And time for a little gas and go, where you have questions and Darrell has the answers. And of course, we put you on the clock as well. And
I'd rather you didn't do that.
Our first question, and here's the clock. Dale Earnhardt Jr., what will be his legacy if he never wins a title? You heard him saying all that matters now is a championship.
Yeah, I know that's huge on his list of things to do, and it isn't every driver. But let me tell you something. There is a debate amongst some drivers whether winning a Daytona 500 or winning a championship, which is more important. He's got 2 Daytona 500s. I believe he'll get a championship, but I wouldn't be concerned if he didn't.
All right, which rookie will have the biggest impact in today's race? It was all about the 3 in Austin Dillon last Sunday.
No question, Kyle Larson. This kid has been fast. His teammate Jamie McMurray is fast. He needs a little redemption today. Had a terrible Daytona 500, so I say Kyle Larson.
Okay. Who has the best chance to end their winless streak on this track? You know, Carl Edwards is a guy who's done it. We got a couple other guys with long streaks where they haven't won a race.
Yeah, maybe Kurt Busch. Kurt needs a win at 41 cars pretty fast. They look good at Daytona. Maybe Kurt Busch. Who knows?
79 races for him. It's been 42 for Clint Boyer. We'll be watching for them. Darrell's going to head up to the broadcast booth. Sorry we didn't get to some of the other questions.
I'm going to have to climb that mountain.
You can handle it. It's an uphill climb. Let's check in with Michael in the grid walk.
Hey, I'm down here on the grid, guys. Found Jeff Gordon and Rick Hendrick. Congratulations on your big win last week.
Oh, thank you, Mike. I like your hat.
Well, thank you. It's Academy Awards Sunday. Who's your outfit by, Jeff?
By Alpine Star.
Alpine Star, you look good. I'm going to present you with 2 Academy Awards today. One for Best Costume for the Pepsi Max commercial, and secondly, Lifetime Achievement Award. You've been a lot to this sport. You're not Jeff Gordonary, you're Jeff Gord Extraordinary, and I just want to say thank you for all you do.
What would we do without you, Michael? Like, how do I give you this award back? Because I think the same about you.
I wished I knew what to do with me, and there's a lot of people in line that would like that as well. Let's see who else we can find. Thanks, Jeff. Good to see you. Hi, guys. How you doing? Vickers, you all right? Clint Boyer, he had a good car here a couple years ago. Him and Jeff Gordon there, he actually got in a little bit of a scuffle after the race. There's Kevin Harvick. Let's talk to him. Jeff, Kevin, it's Michael Waltrip. It's Academy Awards Sunday. I want to present you with leading male racer today because everybody in the garage area says you're the man to beat. How's that feel?
It feels pretty good, actually. Hopefully we can do everything we can do and control the things we can control today, and hopefully it's a good day in the end for our Jimmy John's Chevrolet.
Sounds fun. Hey, guys, my grid walk's brief today. I can't hang around anymore. I got stuff to do. I got to get ready for the Oscars. This is our red carpet. I hope you enjoyed it.
Asphalt carpet, I guess. Coming up, the opening ceremonies to get this show on the road and on track. But first, we caught up with Marcus Lemonis, president of Camping World and great supporter of small business.
I'm Marcus Lemonis, and we're here at Phoenix International Raceway for week 2 of the NASCAR season. While it's been an exciting start to the season, what's more exciting is what NASCAR and myself are doing to save small business in America. I spend a lot of time and money on television promoting the heart and soul of America, small business. So this week, do me a favor. Go out and support a small business in your town.
Brad Keselowski, your pole sitter. You're watching NASCAR on Fox Live and Trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the Luke Air Force Base Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Phoenix International Raceway Chaplain Ken Bowers offers our invocation.
Thank you, Heavenly Father, for another beautiful Arizona day, the beginning of the next 50 years of Phoenix International Raceway. One of the most reassuring words that we know is that if God is for us, who can be against us? Today, we want you to be for us to have a safe race, to be for us to have an enjoyable time together with our fellow fans, to be with our military people protecting us around the world. If God is for us, who can be against us? This we pray in your name, and everyone said,
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Emmy Award winner and Phoenix International Raceway favorite, Power Trump, Dr. Jesse McGuire.
It's race 2 of the 36 race season. We're getting ready to roll from Phoenix, Arizona. NASCAR on Fox. Carl Edwards won this race last year. Kevin Harvick won here in the fall. He's won here 4 times. That's the most, along with Jimmy Johnson. Let's join the guys who will call the race. Darrell Waltrip has made his way up to the booth. We're still trying to find Michael Waltrip. Mike, so take it away.
Thanks, Chris. Well, the Valley of the Sun has been anything but this weekend. The bad weather from Daytona seemed to follow us here to Phoenix, and we had the first measurable rain here in 70 days. And last night it poured. So Larry, NASCAR called an audible and said, we'll give you a competition caution early in the race so the teams can check tire wear and so forth on a green racetrack. How does this change your race?
Well, remember, but by the rules with a competition caution, no matter what, you cannot fuel the car until that competition caution. That's about halfway through a fuel run. So I promise you, pit road will be very busy. I think for drivers that like the way their car is driving, they're not going to like that competition caution. But trust me, there'll be a lot of them that won't be happy. They'll love that competition caution at lap 35.
Everybody anticipating the start of this one, including Darrell.
Yeah, I'm here. Had to climb that mountain, but I'm here. Today, I like to call it Redemption Sunday. There's a lot of guys out here that need to redeem themselves from bad runs at Daytona last week. Kyle Larson is a good place to start.
All right. Getting set to fire them up on what is a beautiful sunny day here in Greater Phoenix. All right, let's go trackside.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, the star of CNBC's The Prophet, airing Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, Marcus Lemonis.
If you love small business in America, get on your feet. In honor of them, gentlemen, start your engines!
Are fired, so get ready for 500 kilometers of flat-out action. You're watching NASCAR on Fox. Ready to race in the desert. Bring it on, boys. Don't look back because everybody's coming.
This is everything you want in a NASCAR race.
You're sitting on pins and needles. How bad do you want it?
Here comes Stewart. Chevy Gordon, he's on top.
And that 88 car is looking really good. Jimmy Johnson is the gold standard. Do not count her out.
Backflip is back. Flip is back. Flip is back. Flip is back. Flip is back. And at the end of the day, only one will stand tall in victory lane. Welcome to NASCAR on Fox from the Arizona desert. Presented by KFC. Getting set for 500 kilometers of flat-out racing on a 1 mile that races very much like a short track. Jamie McMurray's pit. The Ganassi team did very well in qualifying. The first time that we've had knockout qualifying in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. That's going to become a staple every week. Chad Knaus rallies his troops. Drivers begin to roll out onto the racetrack. We're ready to go. Here's the Geico starting grid for today's race. It's an all-team Penske front row. Brad Keselowski, 4th career pole, and Joey Logano, his best start at Phoenix in 11 tries. Row 2, Jamie Mack, best start here in 6 years, and Jimmy Johnson, 4-time Phoenix winner. Dale Jr. has won here twice, and Greg Biffle, his best start since they reconfigured the track. Kyle Busch won here as a rookie. One of the top rookies today is Kyle Larson. Eric Almirola for Richard Petty, and Kurt Busch, the 2005 winner. Casey Kane, who won here the first time after they reconfigured it, and Denny Hamlin, top 3 in 3 of the last 4. Kevin Harvick, 4-time Phoenix winner, and Clint Boyer just missed the final round of knockout qualifying. Ryan Newman, the 2010 winner, and Brian Vickers returns. Jeff Gordon has won here twice, along with Casey Mears, and rounding out the top 20, Matt Kenseth, the 2002 winner, and Tony Stewart, who won here in 1999.
Well, let's see if we can get Carl Edwards on the line here. Hey, Carl Edwards, it's DW Fox Sports. You got a copy there, buddy?
I got you, DW.
Carl, I got a simple question for you. I'll keep it simple. What makes you so darn good here?
It was my breakfast Subway sandwich. That's it. That's the truth. No, I love this place. It's just a great racetrack. It's a good blend of speed. You got to run the right line. You got to be persistent. I really like this place.
You look like your Fords had a lot of speed at Daytona. You didn't necessarily get the best finish I think you were looking for. How is the car handling here today? Does that adjustment with the grill, has it made any difference?
I don't know how it's going to handle. We got all that rain, and you know, we're starting back here, so we're just going to have to go for it. We made some big adjustments. We took a big swing at it. Jimmy and the guys worked real hard all night. So we'll see what happens. I just got to go up here, pass some cars, so you have a good pit stop in the competition caution, and hopefully get out front. I think if we can do that, we can get it. All right, brother, good luck, and save that sandwich for after the race. Hey, simple. I'll bring you one.
That's our Subway Fresh Take with the defending winner of this event, Carl Edwards. Going to add a lap before we go green, so let's go down pit side. Matt Yoakum.
Mike, when you look at Phoenix, it's one of the most difficult races that we go to try to pass and pulling a number of crew chiefs. They're going to try to approach it today more like a road course than racing on a 1 mile oval. They're going to back time their final stop as close to the edge of that fuel window as possible. And Steve Letarte told me, look, I already have a win. I'm just chasing an insurance policy and a trophy. So if anybody runs out of gas today, it might be me because I'm going extra aggressive. Steve Burns?
Matt, Jimmy Johnson's a 4-time winner here at Phoenix. He finished in the top 3 in both races. A year ago, he's starting fourth. The numbers love him, but what's more important, his crew chief Chad Canal said they got better and better and better in practice yesterday. Chris Devoda.
Steve, this is a strategy track, yet pole sitter Brad Keselowski is without his top decision maker. Crew chief Paul Wolfe flew home yesterday for the birth of his first child. His son, Caden, was born at 2:30 a.m. Eastern time, and an hour later, Paul was on the phone with team engineer Brian Wilson and Greg Irwin, who are calling the race today, to talk about the setup. Isn't that just like a crew chief, Jeff Hammond?
Yes, it is, Chris. But here's this racetrack today. Watch the start of the race. Turn 2. Drivers have a unique choice whether to run the high loop, ride the roller coaster, or cut the corner and try to pick up some position. Choose right, you win. Choose wrong, and there's a collision point in turn 3. Mike?
Thanks, Jeff. We're ready to race in the desert. Lights should go out on that safety car this time by. Air temp is 65, pushing toward 70 under bright sun. Track temp 86 degrees. Just a hint of a breeze under mostly sunny skies. We'll go 500 kilometers today. That'll encompass 312 laps. 45 miles an hour down pit road. And around 80 laps is the fuel window. Now, as Larry and I talk competition caution at lap 35 to make sure everything's set up right.
But you know what I like? Just what Stevie Letarte said. I think this was the pressure that 88 team had on it last year. They kept wanting to get a win, and they couldn't. They've got one now. Look for that 88 team to really roll the dice.
And Carl Edwards spoke about all the rubber being washed off the racetrack. This racetrack's going to be different in another regards. It was cloudy and overcast yesterday. This track's not going to have near the grip that it had yesterday when they were practicing those 2 practice sessions.
How much grip and how much go? We are about to find out.
What do they say?
Team Penske leads them into turn 4.
What do they say? Grip it and rip it? Well, we're getting ready to.
We're going to have some of that. Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano address themselves to the starting line.
And here they come off turn 4, looking for the green flag. Hold it, hold it. Green flag in the air. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
Joey Logano will lead the first lap.
And Mike, I don't think that's a big surprise. Even though those 2 Penske drivers sat on the front row, I just felt like in practice yesterday, Joey Logano in the 22, a little better than his teammate Keselowski in that too.
Well, the best guys, watch this, cutting through the apron back there. That 4 car is on the move. He was the best car in practice, both practice sessions, and he is on the move. Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, that was Dale Earnhardt Jr., though, that's already straightened the backstretch out in that 88 car.
This is a 5-corner racetrack. That dogleg in the back straightaway presents a 5th passing opportunity. If you're willing to go down on the flat to break the log jam of traffic, you can. That yellow line is not out of bounds. Only at Daytona and Talladega would that result in a penalty.
Well, we use the apron here more than probably any other racetrack we go to, especially off turns 3 and 4. Get those left side tires down below that yellow line, a lot of extra grip.
Riding with Kevin Harvick in that 4 car. He has taken no prisoners here early. He started 13th. He's about to crack the top 5. He's up to 6th.
Larry, that's the car I've been watching because he has made some really nice moves, and he's cut the dog leg off back there and passed a couple of cars. Of course, we know how fast he is, and he is on the move.
Joey Logano has led the first 4 laps from his Penske teammate, Brad Keselowski. Jimmy Johnson settles in 3rd with his teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr. 4th. Jamie McMurray in 5th. Harvick up to 6th from 13th. Now, Harvick started 13th because he missed the final round of knockout qualifying by 1/1000th of a second, and that eliminated him from the top dozen.
And Mike, really what we're seeing right now at the front of the field are the guys that were really good in practice, and then the guys that obviously qualified well. These are the fastest cars that all weekend, the ones that are in the top 5 or 6 here, and they're pulling away from everybody else.
'17th place, Kenseth on the outside. Here comes Boyer in the 15, and his teammate Brian Vickers in the 55.
And of course, remember, we're racing, we're racing to the competition yellow. So if your car is not exactly right, look at Harvick right there. That's the move he's made on about half the cars he's passed, dipping down below that yellow line.
And Darrell, where he's so strong over Jamie McMurray in that 1, he can get back to the throttle and stay in the throttle. You can just see him pulling away right there, coming onto the front stretch.
And Larry, if he ever gets up on the racetrack, he'll really be fast.
11th place battle right here. Denny Hamlin in the 11. Jeff Gordon, Kurt Busch, and rookie Kyle Larson.
And Jeff Gordon in that 24, based on practice yesterday, as he goes by Denny Hamlin in the 11, he dips it down just a little bit there. I felt like watching him yesterday that he didn't get what he was looking for in qualifying, but really good in race trim.
Yeah, it's a pretty good little racing group right here with Gordon leading them in the 24 car. But that 41 car of Kurt Busch, that's another car that I think is going to find its way to the front. And of course, Kyle Larson there in the 42, our little rookie there, buddy. He needs a great run today. One of my redemption guys.
Tony Stewart and Casey Kane, the 14 and the 5, have closed on that group as they battle double file now for 12.
Yeah, Casey Kane in the 5 started in the 11th position. He was not very good at all when they first started this race. I think he kind of settled in, but I think he'll be one of the drivers looking forward to that lap 35 competition caution.
Among our rookies we talked about earlier, Austin Dillon has dropped 12 spots from the drop of the green flag. Justin Allgaier, in a backup car after taking a provisional, has climbed 9 spots.
Larry,
and up at the front, Team Penske.
Back in the day, sorry, Mike, back in the day, we kind of had a rule that if you could stay on the lead lap until the first caution, whether it was a scheduled caution like we're going to have with the competition yellow or just to the first caution, it changed your race so much. You were in the race the rest of the day.
10 green flag laps to start us off here in Phoenix. Joey Logano so far has led them all as we take you side by side.
When you switch to Sprint's new family plan, friends are like family. So who's going to be in yours?
Let's get a sound guy and some roadies.
But the more people you add, the lower the rate.
How about Sketchy Jeff? He gets billed separately, right?
Get up to 10 separate bills, and everyone gets unlimited talk, text, and 1 gig of data for as low as $25 a month each.
Cool. One more. You need more beard. That'll do.
The family plan from Sprint. With a new price, new plan, and an all-new network. Visit a Sprint store today.
Build anything with the new Toyota Tundra. Toyota, let's go places. Do you know who brewed your beer?
I'm the guy responsible for the quality of your beer.
We work hard every day to make your Budweiser the perfect Budweiser.
What makes a great brewmaster is a person who truly has a passion for what they do.
Thank you for drinking my beer, and thank you for making what I do day to day very special.
Meet the brewmaster who spent 30 days brewing your Budweiser at trackyourbud.com.
I'm Jimmy Johnson. Boom, confetti. I'm Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy, customers love the new paint color. It's your beard.
Oh, wow.
And living legend, Jimmy Johnson is on aisle 8.
Dawn, this is all great. Maybe a little much. I think we're playing it pretty cool here.
I'm Jimmy Johnson. Boom, confetti.
15 laps complete. Here are the biggest movers in the race. Justin Allgaier picked up 2 more. He's now plus 11 after starting out back. And you see Kevin Harvick in the number 4 up to 4th place.
You know what, Larry? You know this. If you have a good race car, it doesn't matter if the sun's out, if it's cloudy, if there's rubber on the track or not. You've got a car like Harvick's got. It's good in any condition.
Now, Casey Kane has dropped a couple of spots lately in that number 5. Krista?
Yeah, Mike, Casey just coming on the radio telling crew chief Kenny Francis he is loose, not just into the turn, but out of the exit as well. Loose in and loose off.
And Krista, I think Casey Kane in that 5, we talked about it before we went to commercial. He'll definitely be one of the drivers looking forward to that competition caution here in about 17 laps. And remember, the competition caution, no matter what happens between now and that caution at lap 35, you can't fuel the cars. You can make a pit stop, you can change tires, but you can't put fuel in to lap 35.
I'll tell you what, Larry, the pace that 22 car is setting right now, there's some guys at the back of the field here that need to really pick it up, or they're going to be a lap down before we even get to that caution. Here we are at 20 laps, lapping cars.
Yeah, Morgan Shepherd, Blake Cook, and Joe Nemechek have just gone 1 lap down as we complete 18 laps under green. Logano leading Keselowski and Jimmy Johnson in 3rd. Steve?
Jimmy Johnson saying this car is really good in turns 3 and 4. A little bit snug in the center of 1 and 2, Matt Yoakum.
Steve, Tony Stewart in the 14 car is on the move. He climbed from 20th all the way up to 13th. Stewart says the car is a little tight, rolling the center and just a tick free on exit, but it's extremely drivable. He's hoping that the sun stays out and bakes this racetrack. He's one of the best drivers when you pedal a race car on a slick track.
I think the more rubber that goes back down on this racetrack, these drivers that are fighting a little bit tight, the car's not turning when they turn the steering wheel, I think that problem may even get worse as we get rubber down.
Yeah, and thinking about Tony Stewart, of course, you know, he has that leg injury. Today's going to be a real challenge and a real test for where he is, because it takes a lot of finesse. You got to work the throttle. You got to do a lot of working in there with your feet, your arms, your legs. So it's a test for Tony today.
We said this place races like a short track, Darrell, and the way that Joey Logano is catching traffic is much like a short track. Travis Kvapil driving the 32 that Terry Labonte wheeled last week has gone a lap down. The white car was Reed Sorensen, and here's Ryan Truex in the 83 making his first Cup start of the year, going a lap down to the leader.
Yeah, you let your teammate let the guys know that the rest of us are in hot pursuit, and it makes it a little easier for Brad Keselowski in the 2 and even Jimmy in the 48.
Behind them come Harvick, then Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 5th, and Jamie McMurray in 6th place, Steve.
Yeah, he's dropped from 3rd, Mike. He popped the wall a little bit when the race first started. He said he's loose in, tight in the center, and loose off. So he is really struggling.
And Darrell, I would say what Keith Rod and his crew chief he'll have to really work on is especially that tight in the middle, because they may calm that down and help a little bit of that looseness off.
There's a rule of thumb, Larry. You know this. Do what the driver complains about first. If he says, I'm pushing in loose, you fix the push. That'll probably take care of the loose. But another thing, Larry, I'm watching the scoring monitor, and people in the garage told me this. That 4 car is in a league of, it's in another zip code. And he is showing it on the top. I mean, he's running laps at 3/4 quicker than the leaders.
He's up on the back of Ryan Truex. makes the pass to the inside. Parker Kligerman, another of the rookies, has gone a lap down. And his teammate Cole Witt is about to fall to the race leader Joey Logano, as Carl Edwards makes a move to the inside of Matt Kenseth. This is for 18th place. Now when they come around, it'll be 10 laps to the competition yellow. So we will be back for those pit stops. Joey Logano has led all 25 laps so far.
NASCAR on Fox is presented by KFC. So many ways to KFC. How do you KFC?
31 laps complete under green, with Logano and Keselowski leading in Fords. Here are your Ford EcoBoost track facts. Alan Kulwicki's Ford won the first Cup race at Phoenix, 1988. Carl Edwards has the last 2 wins for the Blue Oval here in the desert. You're riding with Brad Keselowski, and they have now lapped rookies Cole Witt and Michael Annett, along with Michael McDowell and Brian Scott. 32 cars on the lead lap. There is Scott to the outside of Keselowski. And Kevin Harvick has moved to third.
Yeah, he made a nice move on Jimmy Johnson to get into third. And you can see right here, he's on the back end here of the 2 car of Keselowski. And, you know, that 4 car, why, I mean, if you say, well, you keep saying how, I'm just telling you, I can't believe how fast he is compared to the competition. Here he is making a move on Jimmy. He just dives it down into the turn. That's where he's so good. He gets in the corner, and watch how quick he is through the middle. He just drives off and leaves at 48, and that's pretty hard to do.
Now here he goes for second on Keselowski.
Nobody can get down in the corner the way he can right now. The car is so stable on corner entry, it's really making a difference.
Leader coming to complete 35 laps as the field cycles through. Then the competition yellow will wave because of the heavy overnight rains. NASCAR allowing the teams to look things over, change tires, measure wear, and adjust setups. This usually only happens if there's a big rainstorm the night before the race.
Austin Dillon in that 3, he is hoping so much that caution comes out. But the other problem would be if Logano goes by him, and there it is. So just in the nick of time for Austin Dillon in that
35 laps and almost got lapped, boss.
Dillon and Alex Bowman and Justin Allgaier. Allgaier started 43rd. He's climbed 13 spots to stay on the lead lap. Nice job by Allgaier. Brian Scott will be the free pass car. He's the first car 1 lap down at this first caution flag of the day.
I think we will see strategy all over the place. Obviously, every driver will hit pit road for fuel. I think we'll see drivers in big trouble going with 4 tires, but I do think we'll see some 2-tire stops only.
Anybody for gas only?
That's a real roll of the dice with 35 laps and this track being this hot right now.
It is, but Larry, everybody has talked about how great this tire is. They have very little fall off. The speed's maintained pretty good. I don't know.
Oh, I'm not going to rule it out by no means.
Like I said, there's some guys that are gambling. Wait, we're not looking at our normal race setup here. We're looking at guys that are gambling to win a race.
Pit road is open, and here they come. Matt.
And Joey Logano's guys up on the wall. Now his car started out tight, but it migrated to being free on exit. He was pleased with that. They're going to make a slight chassis adjustment and right side tires. And for Dale Earnhardt Jr., he said his car was free at the end of that run, but so was Kevin Harvick's. So he wants to make just minimal changes on that 88 machine. Right side tires as well. Krista?
Well, Matt, DW talked about how stable Kevin Harvick's car was corner entry, but loose off is a condition he needs just, quote, a little bit of help with. Meanwhile, Brad Keselowski free in and off the turns, mostly in 3 and 4.
Joey Logano wins the race off pit road. Looked like Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kevin Harvick, along with Brad Keselowski, getting out there with him. We're under caution at Phoenix.
NASCAR on Fox, presented by KFC, is sponsored by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. By Chevrolet, find new roads. And by Samsung Galaxy, the next big thing is here.
Ready for the restart as you see them come off turn number 4, and it looks a lot like the start of the race with Team Penske up front. Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski. Green flag.
His restarts are really hectic, and you see why. There goes Denny Hamlin down on that apron, cutting off that. We call it a dog leg, but you know, I'm starting to think it's more like an elbow, the way it sticks out there.
Logano retakes the lead. Officially, Keselowski was the first off pit road. So he has led one lap, and Joey Logano takes it right back to the front.
See Kevin Harvick in that 4 car back there, lost a couple of spots on that pit stop there. He's fighting Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 88 for 3rd now.
You know, Larry, I think what they may have done, they probably got their air pressures really, really low in that 4. Might take him a couple laps to get going again, but he's going to give up that spot to Dale Jr. as Jr. moves back into 3rd.
Now behind Harvick, that red car is Kyle Busch. He's in 5th. Jeff Gordon stalking him in 6th place. Then Jimmy Johnson, who took 2 tires on that stop. Kurt Busch, Greg Biffle, Eric Almirola are the top 10.
Jeff Gordon's definitely one of the drivers we were talking about this morning. Didn't get what he was looking for in qualifying. Qualified back in the 17th position. Great pit stop by his crew. Now he's up there well inside the top 10, fighting Kyle Busch, the 18th.
Yeah, see, that's something a lot of drivers. It's like the 4th car. That's a brand new team, and they got a fast race car. But is their pit crew? You know, they haven't been together, worked together that much. They got to get his pit crew running real good. And we got some reports on the 18 from Matt. What's going on, buddy?
Last fall, all 3 Joe Gibbs racing teams struggled here at Phoenix. They came back with NASCAR's new performance platform. This event, all 3 teams tried different ideas, trying to hit on that setup. He won Saturday's race, hoping to carry that over here. Right side tires in that last stop. The car's not bad, just way too free on exit, Chris Devoda.
Well, Matt, Darrell was talking about the 24, so I want to give him just a little bit of an update. You know, I talked with Alan Gustafson this morning, and Alan said they did progress. They gained on the car every single practice. Jeff saying that the car has really good balance. It's just tight in the center and loose off. They made a slight adjustment on that last stop, Steve.
Well, Krista, before the caution came out, Jimmy Johnson said his car was loose on throttle. Turn 1, he said, hit my weakest corner. 2 tires and a chassis adjustment for Jimmy Johnson.
Boy, you're seeing some of the best racing of the day right there. Jeff Gordon would not be denied. Dropped to the bottom, tried the move on Kyle Busch, couldn't complete it, settled back behind and tried it again and made it stick.
And you know, Mike, you might say, well, why is it good in one end and not good in the other? This racetrack has 2 distinctive corners. Turns 1 and 2 are banked 10, 11 degrees. The dog leg, the elbow is banked 10, 11 degrees, but turns 3 and 4 a lot flatter, 8 or 9 degrees on that end of the track, and that's where you get the push.
Big knot of cars here behind Biffle. Hamlin in the 11th. Ryan Newman, new to Richard Childress Racing this year. And the number 20 of Matt Kenseth. Let's get back up to 3rd. Harvick, Hunting, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s 3rd place position. Wow.
I think Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 saw him, the run that Harvick got off turn 2, said no sense in me challenging this early.
Up front, those 2 Penske Fords continue to hold sway over the field. Joey Logano has led more laps today, and we're only 48 laps into this race, than in his prior 10 Phoenix starts combined.
When NASCAR makes rule changes, and we have a lot of some minor rule changes here, always some team seems to hit it first. They figure it out first, whether it's an aero change, with a spring change like they got in the front of these cars. And obviously these 2 teammates right here, the Penske cars, have got a great handling package under those cars.
Roger Penske's Fords are up front. How long before Harvick's Chevrolet reels them in? 56 laps complete. Let's take a closer look at today's race action with Sprint. Joey Logano has the fastest lap of this race. He's led 53, all but 3 laps so far. Switch now to the new Sprint family plan. Up to 10 friends and family get unlimited talk, text, and a gig of data for as low as $25 a month each on the Sprint network. Visit sprint.com/speed. Start your family today. Logano leads Keselowski by 0.6 of a second. Kevin Harvick has pretty much been unable to close while we were in break. That gap stands at 1.5 seconds from race leader Logano. Back to Harvick. We talked to Carl Edwards. on the pace lap. He started 23rd and is up to 14th.
Yeah, I don't think he's in too bad a shape. I mean, he's not running the pace of the leaders right now, but it's not necessary to do it right now if they can make the car a little bit better for him.
Yeah, and Mike and Darrell, going back to that pit stop, that competition caution, most of our top 20 to 25 went with 2 right side tires. Carl Edwards in the 99 being one of them. A lot of the guys that were in trouble went with 4. Brian Vickers in the 55 actually did fuel only. The only one that I found that did that.
59 laps complete. There is Brad Keselowski, who started this race from the pole. Now, we asked you to show us how you get ready for race day, so we'll take a KFC social media pit stop to get a look at how do you, KFC. Newest member of the Wolf Pack, Caden Paul Wolf. And there is the photo. Paul flew home for the birth of his first child at 2:30 this morning. Congratulations to Paul and his wife. Used to be, you'd come to the racetrack a week or 2 later with photos and cigars. Now, it's right there. That's how you KFC.
That's the most important thing that man will ever do in his life. He can win races, he can win championships, but he's holding the biggest trophy he'll ever hold in his life.
Absolutely.
And Chris DeVoto and I were talking this morning about how much strategy goes into a race like here at Phoenix. And there's probably not one that rolls the dice more on pit road than Paul Wolf. Of course, him and Brad, they won the 2010 Nationwide Series Championship, the Sprint Cup Series Championship in 2012. But you're right. There's a lot of races, but there's only one thing that happens like what happened to he and his wife this weekend.
Wow, traffic's getting tight, Larry. Joey Logano just wheeled up very quickly on Parker Kligerman in the 30 after they got past Ryan Truex. Makes that run below the line to get position on Kligerman entering the corner. Now the 2 Penske Fords have that black car. That's Ryan Truex has a buffer between them and Kevin Harvick, who is closing.
And again, because of the banking, it's a little less than 3 and 4. The apron is so attractive here. You can cut the corner, you can get under people, and there is grip down there. It's not like a lot of tracks where it's dirty and you can't run on it. Here, it's part of the racing surface, really.
Let's check on our leaders pit, Matt.
And Mike, that's a good shot when you see both Penske cars coming down the front straightaway. Joey was told by his spotter there's debris on the grill of the 22. Joey's been monitoring the temperature, says all is good at this juncture. So no concern from the Penske camp.
Yeah, you can see it right there, Matt, below the fusion. That's where the opening is that sends the air in there to cool the radiator. I know Darrell was talking in the pre-race about to Carl Edwards about a grill change. That's one of the reasons they changed the grill configuration on the Ford, was because it was picking up so much debris last year.
I mean, how ironic is that? They had a problem and they said, okay, here's what we can do to fix it, and maybe they haven't fixed it yet. Maybe they need to move her out a little bit more.
Now help the folks out with this. Last week under caution, Dale Jr. picks up a piece of tape on his grill. It helps him win the race. Joey Logano picks up a piece of trash on his grill here. It's going to hurt him.
It's pretty simple. 2 to go versus about 200 to go.
and a lot slower speed here than at Daytona.
Yeah.
And considerably hotter as well. Only one caution so far, the competition yellow at lap 35. Joey Logano leads at Phoenix.
Make a good song, Trash on the Grill.
'73 laps complete, and here comes Harvick underneath Joey Logano, and we'll have our 4th different leader.
I think they did exactly kind of what I thought they did on that pit stop, Larry. I think they had the air a little low on the thing, but when the pressures came up, that thing took off. And again, he's got a good 10th or 2 in the bank over everybody else.
His car is just better everywhere, getting in the corner, through the middle, and on the exit of the corner.
Let's watch from above as he made the pass on Brad Keselowski for 2nd place.
Yeah, you can see Brad's kind of pushing up the hill there. You got the 36 car. I think that's Sorensen on the outside. And Brad and Kevin's using that apron a lot. He's made a lot of great passes by dropping and cutting that elbow off back there. And then look where he is on the race. He's not even up on the racetrack. That's how good the car's working.
And the car still bites, and he's able to drive off the corner. There's his crew chief, Rodney Childers, moving over from Michael Waltrip Racing. The crew chief that Kevin Harvick pretty much asked for when he took this job with Stewart-Haas Racing.
He's calm and cool, brother, I can tell you that.
Krista?
Well, what's interesting is Kevin may have asked for Rodney, but Rodney wasn't sure he wanted to work with Kevin. He always thought he was difficult as a driver, but when he started watching races back, Rodney noticed that when Kevin would get frustrated, Rodney was getting frustrated at the same things. So I asked him this morning, I said, so how is Kevin now? How do you guys work together? He said, I love the guy. Not only that, I thought he was a good race car driver. He's a better race car driver than I ever thought.
Yeah, you know, the other thing that Rodney told me, he said Kevin is demanding. I mean, you know why? You're in a window. Kevin Harvick knows this is his opportunity. He's the Matt Kenseth of last year. You make this big move from Childress. You go over here and start up with this new team. He's in a small window right now to take advantage of what he's learned.
Phoenix native Michael McDowell has made a pit stop. 4 tires and back out. Kevin Harvick is your race leader. Pulling up on rookie Michael Annett and then Justin Allgaier. In the new movie Need for Speed, Aaron Paul plays a street racer who joins a cross-country race with revenge on his mind. So with that in mind, let's let the cars do the talking and rank it up. Need for Speed in theaters everywhere March 14th. 80 laps complete, 232 to go. 4 different leaders. Joey Logano for 70 laps. David Gilliland for a couple under caution. Brad Keselowski for 1 lap. And then Kevin Harvick, as Dale Earnhardt Jr. has moved to 3rd.
Yeah, you know, and watching Harvick, I don't think he's passed any cars on the racetrack. He's passed them all on the apron. Every car he's passed, he's been down on the apron.
But you're riding with Dale Earnhardt Jr. here in the 88 car who went by Brad Keselowski in that 2 just a few laps ago. I think possibly what might be going on with Brad Keselowski's 2 car, this is a longer green flag run than we started the race, and I'm looking at the corners now, and they're starting to get black. They're starting to take that rubber that we've talked about that wasn't there when this race started.
There is Keselowski, who's settled into 4th. He's about 2.5 seconds ahead of Jeff Gordon, the 5th place car.
But you know what? After Daytona, Brad had a great run down there. They were pretty fast all week. He comes here. They qualify with a new track record. I believe it's safe to say that Brad is back after having a dismal last year.
Let's have a look a little further back as Carl Edwards and Ryan Newman battle for 12th. And just ahead of them, Jamie McMurray holding 10th against Denny Hamlin in the 11th.
Well, and Carl Edwards in that 99, he certainly didn't make the move that Kevin Harvick in the 4 made our leader. But remember, Carl Edwards, Darrell talked to him on the pace lap. He started back in the 23rd position. He's just been steadily moving to the front, closing in on the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, his progression has been slow, but it's been going in the right direction. And they have cars not that bad, so a little more work and he could be there.
84 laps complete. Bakersfield, California's Kevin Harvick out in front.
You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
NASCAR on Fox, presented by KFC, is sponsored by Sprint. Get a Sprint friendly plan for as low as $25 per month each. Visit a Sprint store today.
Kevin Harvick leading at 92 laps. Enter for a chance to win the new Chevrolet SS in a trip for 2 to Hendrick Motorsports to meet Chevy drivers Jimmy Johnson and Casey Kane. Visit winyourchevy.com now. Earnhardt in 2nd behind Kevin Harvick by 1.2 seconds. Let's show you how he got 2nd place. up on Joey Logano. And taken away the inside, and as he goes by, that disrupts the air and the debris on Logano's grill. There it goes, it's gone.
Yeah, Joey Logano on the 22, you could tell he tried hard to get as close as he could to Dale Earnhardt Jr., changes the pressure on the nose, and away the debris goes. And right now, we're getting to where we're about probably 20 to 25 laps, what will be green flag pit stops.
All right, let's check with Jeff Hammond.
Mike, I'm down here in turn 3 and 4 watching that awesome display that Kevin Harvick's putting on. And guys, to me, that number 4 car looks so much like it's a go car. It can cut so easy through the center of the corner. The drive off is very impressive. But one thing I did notice, after he passed Dale Earnhardt Jr., he started trying to work that low lane, just like Kevin. He has picked up speed and picked up position. A lot of guys have tried it, but very few of them are making it work like Kevin Harvick.
Thanks, Jeff. Let's take a lap with Kevin, Darrell.
Yeah, I mean, this is his favorite place. I mean, we've seen him. It's not like he just started doing this. He's been doing it here for a long time, using that apron. He did it here in the past. Now, down on this end of the racetrack, you can't do that. The wall's in the way, and there's not enough room. And besides that, it doesn't set you up well for a corner exit off of 2. But he doesn't use that. You know, he stays up on the racetrack when he's not racing anybody or trying to gain a spot. But here's where he just gets that thing down on the apron and goes somewhere.
Busch Brothers battle, 7th place.
Kurt Busch just goes by Kyle there. The 41 car is pretty decent. He's up in 7th place, not looking too bad.
But I've been watching Kyle Busch in that 18 car. Remember Matt Yoakum's report about his car, loose, and you can almost see it. The back of the car is just not down into the racetrack, especially when he picks that throttle up.
How about his brother, Matt?
Mike, he went back and forth over the 2 runs of the balance of the 41 machine. First, it was too tight. He said it felt like he had handcuffs on the front tires. They made 2 changes on that competition caution, and it's really come to life. The car is a tick free on exit, but he's making up ground.
Well, next week we'll be in their hometown, Las Vegas, for the race on Fox. Kurt right now 10 seconds off the lead.
You know, I've been watching Kevin Harvick in the 4, and I want you to look at the drivers that he's caught. A big pack, including Austin Dillon, Marcus Ambrose in the 9, Dillon in the 3. And I've also been watching the scoring monitor, and I think this is going to be a difference maker right here for Kevin Harvick because Earnhardt is catching him.
Yeah, right there. That was some really a wise decision on the 3 car of Austin Dillon. He could have gone down in there 3 wide and put Kevin in a bad position, but watch Harvick cut that corner off back there. And maybe I'll give this guy a little bit more room. But he shoves up, drops that thing down on the apron, and here he comes.
Well, you've talked about rookies being a little unpredictable. There was Ryan Truex. Just ahead of them is Parker Kligerman in the white car to the outside, but leaving plenty of room. Darrell, do I remember the lap cars used to stay to the inside here? Now they run way to the outside to try to stay out of harm's way.
Yeah, for years we tried to get NASCAR to say move the cars to the outside. We're using the bottom of the racetrack. Now they do that pretty regularly. Really and truly, you just hold your line. Wherever you catch me, that's where I'll stay.
Traffic's allowed Dale Jr. to catch Kevin Harvick. Pit stops coming.
NASCAR is sponsored by your next truck, Ford F-150. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Subway Restaurants, introducing new crispy cheesy flatizas from Subway. Now get 2 for $5. Subway, eat fresh.
107 laps. We're entering the window for green flag pit stops. Krista.
Expect Kevin Harvick to come in around lap 110 to 112 for 4 tires. He said he just needs a little bit of forward bite. Brad Keselowski is still loose in and loose off, Matt.
8 laps away before we'll see Dale Earnhardt Jr. hit pit road. Jr. said both the Penske Ford were extremely loose on exit. That's what's hurting them and helping him. His car very manageable, center to exit. Steve?
Well, Matt, Jimmy Johnson in the 48 says that he's losing rear grip. Carl Edwards in the 99 saying that he's loose in, loose off, and he also feels like he's being held up by traffic.
Most of the top 15 have not yet made pit stops. A number of the cars behind there, along with Kyle Busch, Casey Kane, Tony Stewart, have already been in. Paul Menard in the pit lane. There's Jamie Mack. Getting 4 and the same for the 43 of Eric Almirola. 4 tires. Here comes Carl Edwards. headed up toward turn number 4. And they're set to do 4 tires. Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming in. Danica Patrick right behind. There's Alex Bowman, the rookie. All scheduled green flag stops.
And all of these stops will be for 4 tires full of Sunoco race fuel. And right now with the lead that Kevin Harvick in the 4 had, he can kind of wait it out a little bit and let some of these other drivers make their pit stop.
Kevin's driving a really smart race, Larry. He got in traffic. He didn't force it, and Junior closed up on him. But as soon as he cleared the traffic, Kevin was able to pull out a little bit of lead, and here he comes.
Harvick had a 1.2 second lead over Dale Earnhardt Jr. prior to stops. Denny Hamlin getting service. Clint Boyer coming in. Here's Harvick and Logano, and Kurt Busch in the pit lane. Blake Cook is in, or excuse me, Travis Kvapil.
See all these teams make.
Close.
Boy, that was close for Joey Logano in that 22, but I'm seeing a lot of adjustments being made on these race cars. Brad Keselowski in the 2. He took the lead. Now he's coming to pit road, as well as Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, this will leave only Matt Kenseth and Kyle Larson out on the racetrack.
That's a critical pit stop right here, man. You got what you got now, and you need to make some fine tuning on this thing if you're going to run with that 4 car in the 88.
Johnson stops far out from the pit wall to enable the Jackman plenty of room to come around and do that 4-tire change.
Tons of brake dust coming off that right front of the 48 car.
Second can of fuel in. Kyle Larson is in, and so is Matt Kenseth. This will complete this round of pit stops.
Nice stop for the 48. Nice and clean.
Keselowski and Gordon nose to tail. On pit road, we'll get out first. Keselowski by just that much.
Yeah, all these green flag stops happen in a window of really about 5 to 6 laps, and it's cycled through Kevin Harvick in the 4 back to the point.
200 laps to go. So Darrell, you're out there on fresh tires. Some of these cars have 10, 15 lap tires. Closing rate, is that a concern here?
Oh yeah, it's where you really need the spotter to be working with people you're coming up on, because one of the things you don't want to do is take a really great race car, really fast race car, and then run over somebody that can't beat you.
Let's go back to Denny Hamlin's stop and look at the rear of the car, the rear tire changer, getting a bit of help there, and it's maybe a little fuel spill there, slip and slide coming around to the left side.
This is where it got tight, though. See, Joey Logano made a smart move right there. Evidently, Todd Gordon, his crew chief, maybe the spotter was talking to him. They could anticipate Denny Hamlin pulling out. He stopped for just a second.
That's what it takes on these tight pits. You got to have the spotter, the crew chief, everybody helping you in and out, because your peripheral vision with these seats and the way things are in the cars these days, hard to see to either side.
Danica Patrick had been up to 24th and then made her green flag stop. And here's Joey Logano, just a little bit impatient. Puts the chrome horn to Danica.
Look where that 2 car is. You know, hey, I got to go.
All right, let's recap some of those pit stops, beginning with Krista.
Well, Brad Keselowski and Jeff Gordon, you saw them come in a lap later than Kevin Harvick did. They pitted right together, pit stalls back to back. They both made a track bar adjustment. Both cars just a little bit loose in and off. Matt?
Crystal, you saw the little stutter step between Joey Logano on the 22 and Denny Hamlin on the 11. Both cars experiencing the same issue on the racetrack. Both have no grip on exit. Significant changes for Hamlin and air pressure change for Logano. Steve?
Matt, they were big changes to the 20 car of Matt Kenseth before this race even started. He started the race saying, "I have no grip." His most recent comment, "I'm still too loose, just trying to manage it."
118 laps, green flag stops completed. Kevin Harvick and Dale Jr. ahead of the field now by about 4 seconds, as pit crews, including Jimmy Johnson's led by Chad Knaus, check out the taken off tires.
NASCAR on Fox is presented by KFC. So many ways to KFC. How do you KFC?
Live at Phoenix, Arizona.
With Michael Waltrip, Chris Myers, time for a Fox Sports 1 race break. And Kevin Harvick has won more on this track than any other track, trying for his 5th win in Phoenix and trying for his first win with Stewart-Haas Racing. A remark he made early when joining the team: I know I'm in the right place. He's in the right place right now. And our KFC race summary shows that Harvick is your leader and how he's been very, very consistent. But when you look at cars on the lead lap, we've had 4 different leaders other than Kevin: Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, and David Gilliland. Meanwhile, Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming off his Daytona 500 win. If you go back to last year, aiming for his 5th straight top 5 finish, or maybe the first ever back-to-back wins in his career. In both of the Phoenix races last year, this and in the fall, he finished in the top 5 and comfortably sitting behind Kevin Harvick at the moment. And then Roger Penske's Fords, they started on the front row with Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski keeping a close eye and hanging in the top 5 as well. Michael Waltrip, who else are you keeping an eye on?
I just really like this Ford of Carl Edwards. I've watched him work in and out of traffic. He's able to pinch the car down low. He doesn't get loose when he does so, making some good grounds. He's driven from the 23rd starting spot, Chris, into the top 10. Watch his crew chief, Jenny Finning. We heard Carl say in pre-race, I never know what he's going to pull. Watch him try to get him some track position to get up there and lead this thing. We heard Jeff Gordon say earlier in the race on his radio, I'm really, really proud of you guys, all the work you put in to make this car good. Talking to his crew chief, Alan Gustafson. Gordon, who had a good Daytona 500 run, the old veteran there, hanging in at 6th, just behind Jimmy Johnson. You know, he talked early in the season that if he wins the championships this year, he might retire. I think that's crazy. He wins a championship this year. He's saying he's going to be back in 15 trying to win another one. But a very strong run for Gordon here. And with 8 rookies that started this race, only Kyle Larson is in the top 20. We know the adventures that the rookie class had at the Daytona 500. This is a different, challenging race for them. Yeah, and Larson's impressive. I love the way he's been able to, he fell back early in the race, but he's been able to recover from that, and he's charged toward the front, staying on the lead lap. The rest of the rookies, it's all a mighty struggle. 129 laps in, with Kevin Harvick leading Dale Earnhardt Jr. 182 to go in the fun and sun of the Arizona desert. We'll have more with NASCAR and Fox in a moment.
Still green at 136 laps in Phoenix. Here's a closer look at today's action with sprint. Carl Edwards in the fall of 2010 is the last Phoenix winner from the pole. Switch now to the new Sprint Family plan. Up to 10 friends and family get unlimited talk, text, and a gig of data for as low as $25 a month each on the Sprint network. Visit sprint.com/speed.
When I hear you say family, I always think about frenemy. You know, always, that's how I described Earnhardt's relationship, mine and his. We were frenemies. We were friends some of the time, and we were enemies some of the time.
Well, your family could include your frenemies. You can set it up that way. Introducing Budweiser Speed Tweets, the new interactive game where fans compete for a chance to race go-karts with Kevin. Visit Budweiser.com/speedtweets, all one word, to register and for official rules.
Now, I'm just going to, if you think Kevin would cut you any slack, I mean, he races everything. If he gets on a go-kart, he races to win.
Now he has a lead of 1.2 seconds on Dale Jr., who is up 2.6 on Joey Logano, another 0.4 back to Brad Keselowski, and then almost 2 seconds more to Jimmy Johnson in the top 5. Joey Logano has led the most laps today, 70. And there's a close-up look at the decal on Logano's trunk. NENA is the National Emergency Number Association, a group supporting our nation's 911 professionals, providing scholarships and continuing education opportunities, plus mental and physical wellness resources and programs. Friends of the 911 program on Logano's car. Matt?
And Mike, about 30 laps ago, DW made a lot of comments about where Harvick's car was the best, and that's exactly what Tab Boyd told Joey Logano, but they can't run the apron like Harvick. His car is too free on exit. They have worked on it the last stop. They've made headway, but it's still a tick free on exit. That's what's hindering them most.
Darrell, I think you could see it right there when he got down on that apron when we were looking at him from Clint Boyer, the 15 car. Joey lost ground right there on the late exit of turn 4.
Gotta have a pretty good race car to get down on the apron the way Harvick is.
Carol, we talked at the top of the day. One thing I love about racing at Phoenix is it's like a short track. The slowest part of this track is turn 3, and that's where we're seeing the bump and run, the chrome horn, whatever you want to call it, but it's get the heck out of my way.
Well, you go down in that corner. You come down into that turn, and you carry a lot of speed down there. Watch what the 11 car does to the rookie here. Justin Allgaier up here. He just says, hey, rookie, you're holding me up. Excuse me. Did you learn anything there, son?
So Denny Hamlin was looking out his rearview mirror and seeing that 99 of Carl Edwards getting closer and closer. Carl eventually went by Denny Hamlin.
Rookies, they just don't get a lot of respect, guys. I mean, you know, they have to learn the hard way.
Hamlin in 10th. He's picked up, I think, 1 position since that green flag pit stop. And here's Edwards just in front of him in 9th, Steve, by about a second.
You know, Mike, he's made a lot of progress, as Michael Walter pointed out, but he's saying, I feel like the front end of the car is up in the air too much, so I really need some more grip if I'm going to challenge.
But, Steve, I don't think they need to over-adjust because I've been watching this score monitor, and he is turning some of the quickest laps on the racetrack right now. His problem, he's a half a lap down to our leader, Kevin Harvick. Would love to see a caution right now to make up that ground.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. behind Michael Annett. That's Ryan Truex on the outside of the 83. Well, 3 wide, no problem. Yield to the inside lane, please.
Yeah, that was a nice clean pass. A lot of kids that he went by right there, and he made a nice move, got by him without any issues.
Boy, Michael Annett was going to have a great finish last week. So was his teammate Reed Sorensen. And they both got swept up in one of the late crashes.
And Phoenix is not treating our rookies very well. You saw Kyle Larson, the highest running rookie right now in 18th. All of them at least 1 lap down now.
Redemption Sunday, they're not redeeming themselves very well, are they?
You preaching a little bump and run today?
I love it.
There we are.
Coming through.
Kevin Harvick at 154 laps in the number 4 Chevrolet, with a 1.6-second lead on Dale Earnhardt Jr., pulling up on Brian Vickers, who is 17th and the last car on the lead lap. We just had a change at 3rd place between teammates. Team Penske, pole sitter Brad Keselowski, moving underneath Joey Logano.
Well, you know what, Mike? Larry? Notice anything?
It's getting a little cloudy, a little overcast.
Getting a little cloudy. Could be a good thing. You're getting a lot of clouds rolling in here. That Julio racetrack down, that might change the way the car handles.
1 lap to halfway. No threat of rain today. And as expected, Kevin Harvick has moved out to dominate this race after he won both ends of practice yesterday and led practice in all the categories that we calculate. So Harvick leads the halfway lap by 1.5 seconds over the 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Time for Chris Myers and our Fox Sports 1 mid-race report.
Mike, that Fox Sports 1 mid-race report covering the first half of this race, which has been dominated by Joey Logano in a Ford and Kevin Harvick in his Chevrolet. Harvick's 4 wins on this track previously in Phoenix. He has never led at the mid-race point before. Darrell Waltrip, who are you keeping an eye on?
Hey, I'm going with the guy that's already in the chase. You know, my man Dale Jr., he won the race last Sunday. He's got no pressure. You heard his crew chief say, we're going to roll the dice because we got nothing to lose. I like that 88 to do it back to back.
You take 88, I'll take 99. I love Carl Edwards' attitude. I love his whole team. He's very confident in what that Ford's able to do today. He's working well in traffic. He's moving forward. He's got a fast car. Look for Carl Edwards to service at the front at the end of this thing.
Yeah, Michael, Chris Myers talked about Kevin Harvick. He has won 2 of the last 3 races here, but remember, that was with a different team. Looks like to me he's picked up right where he left off. He celebrated an anniversary with Delano on Friday. Wants to celebrate in Victory Lane here at Phoenix today. Matt.
Larry, Matt, go count out the 22 and Joey Logano. Now his car was tight by itself in the center and free on exit traffic. But now with the cloud cover over, we start the march for the the second half of the race. The car's free on entry. That's what his crew chief Todd Gordon told him. Don't worry, we'll fix it on the next stop. You're good.
Could somebody be laying in the weeds? The eventual race winner did not lead before the halfway point in 4 of the last 5 Phoenix races. The exception, of course, Kevin Harvick.
And the pole sitter, Brad Keselowski, who led 3 laps early, hoping to improve off of his 4th place finish in Phoenix last year, which was his best race so far, his best finish in Phoenix. And 2 of the last 3 races on this track have ended in overtime with a green-white checker. Another reason to stick around. This has been your Fox Sports 1 mid-race report with Harvick ahead of Earnhardt Jr. We'll be back in just a moment.
NASCAR on Fox, presented by KFC, is sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places.
After the longest green flag run in 3 years at this track, we're under caution for debris on the front straightaway. Pit road opened, and you'll see the 4 leaders here with first place Kevin Harvick down on the lower left of your screen, making their pit stops under caution. Let's check with Krista.
Well, for Kevin Harvick, he said the 2 and the 22 have better takeoff. His crew chief Rodney Childers said, do you need anything? He said, not now. He has a consistent car. Meanwhile, Brad Keselowski said he got a little tight as the track took rubber. He liked the track bar adjustment they made on the last stop, so they did it again. He took 4 tires, Matt.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 machine telling Steve Letarte that the car was good when the caution came out. No changes on the 88 machine. Meanwhile, the 22 of Joey Logano, he picked up 1 spot on pit road. He says his car was better. Steve, just a track bar adjustment to tweak.
Well, Matt, Jimmy Johnson in the 48 saying his car had gotten loose in traffic. They took 4 tires, and they also made a chassis adjustment in the left rear of that car.
Thanks, Steve. This caution and this stop not kind to everybody. Parker Kligerman on pit road with the hood up. Joe Nemechek getting extended service. And Brian Vickers, who would get the free pass, he's got a problem. Let's have a look at our Toyota top performers. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth. 3 Gibbs cars right in a row. Kenseth moving up after having a tough race here last fall. Brian Vickers appeared, I believe, to cut a right front tire and smack the wall hard.
Man, he did. He pounded. They were down there, the right front damage, beating the fender out, knocked the toe in out. Really messed that car up. That was a hard lick.
And there you get a feeling about 60 laps into this run when that happened. One thing that can happen to a driver, especially if his car's not driving good, is you really start to use a lot of brake, and the weak link becomes the bead of the tire to the rim. It finally just cooks.
Well, you know, and that's one of the things. I remember Chad Knaus looking over the tires off of Jimmy Johnson's car there in an earlier pit stop. They had a tire problem here last year too. So that right front tire, it takes a lot of abuse.
Now, Mike, it'd been about 50 to 60 laps since that set of green flag pit stops, and it looks like 6 of our top 10 drivers elected to go with just 2 right side tires. You're looking at one of them right there, Carl Edwards. Now, Jeff Gordon went with 4, but Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kurt Busch, and Carl Edwards, as well as Eric Almirola here driving the 43 car. Those are the drivers that went with just 2 right side tires.
So we're under caution for only the 2nd time today. The first was the competition yellow, and this was a debris caution before Brian Vickers got up and into the wall. Now, we asked you to show us how you get ready for race day. Let's take a KFC social media pit stop to get a look at how do you, KFC. Oh, like that. He knows who the favorite is here today. Kevin Harvick. K. Fry, 2010.
Another thing that caution does for these drivers and their teams, it came at a time when now, with making that stop right there, you can actually make this race on 1 more pit stop.
And Larry, I like, you can't worry about what might happen. And some of these guys back there, like Almirola and Stewart and Newman, those guys, they needed to take some chances here. Get caught up. They were going to be a lap down here before long, and this track position will really catch them back up.
All right, we listened in on Jimmy Johnson's team.
Hey guys, something that I have observed here over the course of the last couple of races, Earl, is whoever has the outside going into turn 3 on the first lap of a restart typically gets the position.
I think that the reason for that is low air pressure. You get down on that apron with the tire pressures really low, and the car wants to slide up the hill. So I think I'd rather be up in the groove, up in the racetrack, and I think I'd be a lot better off there than I'm trying to come down off of that flat of the track and with those low air pressures in the tires.
And speaking of tires, Matt Yoakum just fed me the information that Brian Vickers, the 55 car, did cook the bead of the right front tire. It's not unusual here as much brake as a driver uses, especially if his car's not driving good.
Yeah, if you're not handling good, it's a big problem.
Fox Sports Support's proud to team up with Boys and Girls Clubs of America to help young people reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens through programs promoting character, leadership, education, and healthy lifestyles. For information, visit bgca.org.
And Mike, real quick, I want to wish Bruton Spieth happy birthday today. I know there's a lot of people having birthdays, but Bruton, our good friend, happy birthday, bud.
We'll be at his track next week.
We will.
Las Vegas.
Getting ready for this restart. 144 laps to race here in Phoenix. Harvick, Logano, the front row. Harvick's chosen the inside for the restart. Earnhardt, Keselowski, Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Edwards, Gordon, Hamlin, Kyle Busch, the top 10. Now Vickers, because he had to come to pit road, does not get the free pass, so we will restart with 16 lead lap cars.
Remember what I said at the top of the show, restarts, they are huge and exciting here.
Mayhem. That 4 car, though, is slow to take off on new tires. I saw that earlier. Let's see how he responds this time.
Green flag. Kenseth hunting way down low. I thought he was in with the campers in the infield there.
Yeah.
As he goes against Kurt Busch. That's the number 20, the yellow car.
That's actually Carl Edwards.
You're right.
99. Yeah, he was just about out of racetrack.
43 slid way up high. And you're right, it was Carl Edwards making that move, and did. Kevin Harvick trying to get out of town.
Yeah, trouble. Turn 2 here, guys. Turn.
Justin Allgaier, Danica Patrick involved, and caution is back out.
Like we said, these restarts are mayhem. I mean, everybody's on top of each other. They just run over each other.
32 getting a big piece of that, Travis Kvapil.
Justin Allgaier in the 51, a lot of damage.
And that will give Clint Boyer the free pass on this 3rd caution. Really thought this would be a good race for Danica. She's a rhythm racer in a stock car, in this track like Martinsville and a few others where she's had good runs. Gave her a good opportunity to establish a rhythm as the race goes on.
Let's see if we can see what happened here, Mike. We're heading down into turn 1 here. Back. Yeah, it's already started there. I think it may have been the 51 and the 10 that I saw started that. Allgaier and Danica seemed to be where the initial contact was. Of course, Allgaier's in a backup car. He started at the back of the field, crashed in qualifying.
And this is the first caution we've had for contact in this race.
Well, cautions tend to do that.
Breed cautions?
Breed cautions. Yeah.
Seeing a couple of takers on pit road. Eric Almirola, we mentioned in that 43, was in trouble. He's on pit road, as well as Greg Biffle, Brian Scott, and a couple others.
Most of the leaders were in at lap 163 just 9 laps ago.
And as I mentioned, you know, at the top of the show especially, strategy, a short race can be absolutely all over the place. But I think with the timing of that last caution, as I mentioned, that put everyone in a window of making this race on one more stop. I think that's the reason we're only seeing just a handful of drivers. But what I was going to say about the time that wreck happened, Eric Almirola, one of the drivers that went with just 2 right side tires, that did not work out for him back in the middle of the pack.
Almirola and Greg Biffle are the lead lap cars that have stopped under this caution. And that wreck happened. Jeff Hammond was right on top of it.
As a matter of fact, you're correct, Mike. I'm up here above turn 1, and everybody just got very impatient, entering that corner, beating and banging. Allgaier along with Danica Patrick. You've seen what the carnage was created after the fact, but really everybody trying to fight to get to the bottom of the racetrack, and there was just not enough room getting into turn 1 at the very part of that start of that restart.
Some things never change, you know. I always, every time we look for, where is Hammond anyway?
He's all over the place.
He's right on top of it. Now, all the cars involved look like they are able to continue. Even Brian Vickers, whose car got repaired. Well, that's one of the best seats in the house right there. What are we doing above the start-finish line?
Nice.
You know,
Mike, one thing I noticed on pit stops, back in the day, if we came into pits, we'd lock up the front tires and slide the front tires. Almost every driver I've watched come into the pit boxes, they lock up the rear tires. It tells you how much rear brake they run in these cars to help them turn.
Actually making a chassis adjustment on Casey Mears' 13 car. Had that great run in the Daytona 500, top 10 finish. Really struggling here today. Right now, he's a lap down.
Under caution at Phoenix, time for a Samsung Galaxy race break.
Welcome inside the Fox Sports 1 newsroom for this race break brought to you by Samsung. I'm Molly McGrath. Tiger Woods withdraws on the 13th hole during the final round of the Honda Classic with back spasms. At the HSBC Women's Champions in Singapore, Paula Creamer sinks a 75-foot eagle putt in a playoff for the win. And center Joakim Noah records his second triple-double of the season as the Bulls beat the free-falling Knicks. For all your post-race coverage, catch Victory Lane at 8 Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1.
Thanks, Molly. Here at Phoenix, we're getting ready for the restart once again. Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, 17 lead lap cars. And we listened in on Danica Patrick.
Dam 51.
Talk to us about what you need here.
I have no idea. I got a lot of smoke coming in, though.
Well, they've made repairs, and they have her back out there.
A lot of damage to the left side of the car, particularly around the left rear back there, and I'm sure that smoke is, if it's smoking up in the car, it's probably a tire rub because there's not a lot of clearance there, and you can see the black around the paint there, so I bet she's got a tire rub.
She and Allgaier both return to the fray, one lap down. 137 laps to go from Jeff Hammond's view, high above turn 1. Here we go.
See Brad Keselowski in that 2 car in third. Of all these drivers, he's the one that has 4 fresh tires versus 2 on Logano and 2 on Harvick.
Larry, we've heard so little complaint about the tires. And we saw in qualifying, guys go out a second time on their tires. That's when they set a track record. So tires is not a deciding factor today.
Now that is Matt Kenseth way down on the bottom. Forgive me for calling the yellow car Kenseth. It was the 99 of Carl Edwards earlier. 14 new paint schemes from last week among the 43 starters, but that's no excuse. I know this.
Yeah, they have over there in the third turn. That's where you have a come together. They get separated through the dogleg, but they have a come together right over in turn 3.
Shortcutting, that's Martin Truex in the 78, and behind him the 3 of Austin Dillon, trying to gain a little ground on the flat in the back straightaway, which isn't. It's a dogleg or an elbow.
I like
here comes Kenseth.
And you know what I like when you cut that off? Think about the amount of distance you cut off. Not only are you picking up speed by going down on that flat, but you're cutting off a good bit of distance there too. That's why you come out in front of the guy you're racing with when you get to turn 3.
Does the car get upset coming back up into the banking? I know there's not a lot of banking down there.
Have you ever been driving your street car and you drop it off the edge of the road?
Sadly, yes. Kind of like Michael Annette's doing up in turn 4.
Kind of what it feels like.
Way up the racetrack. Gets it back.
Watching Kyle Busch, that 18 car, there you see Michael Annette in the 7, but I think every pit stop they've been working to make that 18 a little better. Remember, he had the complaint earlier, just bad loose as he races Ryan Newman in the 31. That's a battle for the 10th spot.
About 4 seconds behind our leader. Right there, and here's Tony Stewart right in the thick of it, 12th.
Yep, he's hanging in there pretty well, doing a nice job. He's been hanging around the top 12 or 15, making some pretty good passes every now and then. Looks pretty good today for a guy with a leg that's not working just exactly right yet.
And his idols here. A.J. Foyt carried that number 14 to many a victory, and he's been hanging around and talking about Tony Stewart, and had the media room in stitches earlier yesterday. A.J. is here. Matt?
Mike, A.J. also made a trip to Daytona because he wanted to be there for Stewart's first start back in Sprint Cup after his injury. Tony's saying the car is much better than the previous run, but he still needs considerable more help trying to get the car to roll through the center, and that's where Harvick is doing so well through much of the race.
A.J. Foyt won the first ever race held here at Phoenix, part of the track's anniversary celebration, and he and Stewart go way back. A lot of people talked about Tony Stewart as maybe being the next A.J. Foyt. Volatile, versatile, successful, and the two of them took a liking to each other.
Yeah, George Snyder and A.J. Foyt, they were good buddies back in the sprint car days. Tony drove for him a few times, and I can tell you one thing, Tony Stewart will not lay down on A.J. Foyt today. He knows A.J.'s here, and you better get out there and get the job done. I don't want to hear about any problems.
Kevin Harvick, new driver at Stewart-Haas Racing, and he is out in front of Joey Logano by half a second with 129 to go.
NASCAR, presented by KFC, is sponsored by Sprint. Get a Sprint family plan for as low as $25 per month each. Visit a Sprint store today. And by Pepsi Max, a zero-calorie cola in disguise.
Welcome back to Phoenix. One caution in the first 162 laps and 3 of them since. This one for Danica Patrick. That left rear tire we thought might be rubbing. It was. It went down in turn number 1 and she went into the wall.
Yeah, of our 17 lead lap drivers, it looks like to me only about 5 of them pitted. I wasn't really surprised to see that because we only had 12 laps on the tires, and we're still not to that window to make it to the end.
Larry, I didn't quite understand why Tony Gibson didn't bring her back in when she said, we showed the tire rub, and she said she had smoke in the car. Thought I probably should have brought her back in, obviously, hindsight.
God, all we have for luck is bad. God.
So the 5 drivers who stopped: Ryan Newman, Jamie McMurray, Kyle Busch, Clint Boyer, and Denny Hamlin. The 5, Casey Kane gets the free pass on this caution. Let's get a little recap from Chris Myers.
Mike, with Michael Walter, of course, our pole sitter, Brad Keselowski, the Roger Penske Fords have the front row aside with Joey Logano, and right away in that first lap, Joey Logano at a 22 takes off and actually led a total of 70 laps, dominating the first half of this race. But here comes Harvick, the closer. How does he do as a guy out in front? Well, he's already led more than 100 laps in this race, and Michael using all of the track.
Yeah, you can see him dip down off the back straightaway, but down in turns 3 and 4, he's been one of the most aggressive guys, totally off the racetrack low.
And then Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming off that Daytona 500 win, who's done well here, getting into second place before moments ago. Danica Patrick actually involved into a minor wreck and then spinning out here. You just heard her radio transmission, and that was at the back of the pack. But there's Kevin Harvick.
Harvick has got a car leading the race. You know, sometimes you don't work on your car when you're up in the front. You just think it's fine. Guys like Carl Edwards, guys like Dale Jr. have been adjusting on theirs. It'll be interesting to see if Harvick can hang on.
And what kind of advantage Joey Logano with Brad Keselowski right behind him?
They just have great cars today. They've been up front all day long. I love Logano's setup. I love the way he's able to run high and low, so he'll be strong in the last race.
And then you've got the Hendrick teammates with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmy Johnson. Carl Edwards currently 5th.
Yeah, we talked about Stewart-Haas needed a rebound, and they're doing just that with Kevin Harvick leading, and you also see Kurt Busch in the top 10 and Stewart strong as well.
Let's head back upstairs and rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Thanks, Chris. 122 laps to go as we get set for this restart. We talked early about the rookies. None of them are on the lead lap, although Kyle Larson is the first car 1 lap down. Harvick, Logano, Keselowski, Earnhardt, the front 4. Johnson, Edwards, Kenseth, Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, the top 10.
You know, you talk about Kevin Harvick and his crew chief, Rodney Childers. Remember, Rodney won New Hampshire last year with Brian Vickers. You think about what Kevin knows about this racetrack here in Phoenix. You throw in what Rodney and those guys did at New Hampshire last year, and you've got a race car that's pretty dominant.
Danica is able to continue. She's now 4 laps down. The only car out of the race is Morgan Shepherd. So 42 drivers will take this restart green flag with 121 laps to go.
That's a cool shot of Chad.
Brad Keselowski in that too. He tried to stay with Kevin Harvick on that restart, and I think closed the door on his teammate Joey Logano on the 22. I don't think anybody right now can really keep pace with Kevin Harvick.
And then I think, Larry, that on these restarts, and of course the tire pressures have come up now, that may have been one of the 4 cars' Achilles heel on the restarts, but now that's not a problem because they've run some laps, and he'll pick up right where he left off, inching away from those other guys.
6th place. Matt Kenseth ahead of Carl Edwards. And they're 3 wide all the way down this back straightaway. Makes for some interesting entries to the 3rd corner.
And when I look at Newman in the 31, Kyle Busch in the 18, Clint Boyer in the 15, that's 3 of the drivers that hit pit road that last time. What that did do for them, especially for Clint Boyer in that 15 you're riding with, he went with 4 tires. I think now he knows he'll make this race on one more stop with just possibly right side.
And the thing about Boyer, he was a lap down. He got the lucky dog. He was struggling, man, but getting back in the on the lead lap, it's really helped them and turned that team around right now.
Denny Hamlin back at 17th, trying to get past Kyle Larson, who is 1 lap down.
Hamlin, another driver that made a stop in, 4 fresh tires on that 11 car.
Matt?
Mike, we have total cloud cover again, and Denny Hamlin told Darian Grubb the last changes they made on that 11 machine, it just made the car extremely loose in, awful in the center, and even worse on exit. They reversed those last adjustments.
And you know, Mike, we watched the guys run the back straightaway down the back and cut that elbow off. But when you're not racing anybody, there's really no use to do it. There's no need to do it. And so if there's somebody you're trying to pass, that's a great passing opportunity. But just to run fast laps, stay up on the racetrack.
3rd place right here, Dale Earnhardt Jr. inside Brad Keselowski. Jimmy Johnson, the 48, looking on.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski's the meat and the Hendrick sandwich right now because he has his hands full not only of Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88, but Jimmy Johnson in the 48. Krista, looks like they just don't have that 2 where Brad needs it right now.
Just not quite. They were so good on takeoff, but you know, earlier we talked about the fact that Brad Keselowski is without his crew chief, Paul Wolf. He was almost without his spotter, Joey Meyer. You see, Joey is also the team pilot. Joey flew Paul Wolf back to North Carolina yesterday, and then Joey flew himself back to the racetrack today. I asked Joey to contact me when he got to the track. He sent me a picture from the spotter stand at 11:40 a.m., less than an hour before the driver's meeting.
Wow, that is cutting it close. We saw a 3-mile traffic jam to get in here earlier. He must have a back way. Maybe he came from a boat.
But Mike, that just shows you how important the spotter-driver relationship is. I mean, Dale Jr., his spotter's not here this weekend. And here's Brad, and he was lucky his spotter got. But these guys believe in these spotters. They trust them, and they've got to have them. They got to have that familiar voice.
114 to go. Kevin Harvick in front of Joey Logano by 0.6 of a second.
NASCAR on Fox is presented by KFC. So many ways to KFC. How do you KFC?
107 laps to go. Kevin Harvick leading. Here's a closer look at today's race action with sprint. Harvick has led the most laps today, about 60 more than Joey Logano, who's second in that category. Switch to the new Sprint family plan. Up to 10 friends and family get unlimited talk, text, and 1 gig of data for as low as $25 a month each while on the Sprint network. Visit sprint.com/speed. Harv keeps picking him up, putting him down as he closes in on Kurt Busch on the all-time lap leader list. At Phoenix, as Dale Jr.'s 88 takes away second place from Logano.
Nice pick.
Matt?
Mike, Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the move now several laps. Steve Letarte, his crew chief, has told him to try to save as much fuel as possible. Now back to green. How close are you to your window that you need, Stevie?
A lap and a half, 2 laps. It's hard to figure this fuel mileage under yellow. We got a pretty good guess, but it's a little bit of black magic. We're going to see. Y'all know about the same time I do.
We told you at the top of the show, they already have their win for the year, so they can gamble. And Stevie said, if anybody runs out of gas, it might be us.
Now, Larry, the old rule of thumb was you could run 2 laps under caution using the same amount of fuel it took to run 1 lap under green. Why is it so hard to figure now?
That was back when drivers just sat out there and ran the speed that the pace car. Now these drivers, they pick up speed, they slow down. As we saw in the Daytona 500, they shut their engines off. That's the reason it's hard to figure. And the way I see it, Dale Earnhardt Jr. pitted on lap 163. He needs to be able to basically run a 74-lap run and a 75-lap run to make it to the end on one more stop.
Thanks. Steve?
And Mike, taking a look at Jamie McMurray and Kyle Larson. Meanwhile, Matt Kenseth, remarkable performance by them. They made huge adjustments to that car this morning. He's been loose all day, but with this cloud cover, Mike, he said that his car has gone to the tight side.
Wow, he'd been moving up pretty well, but now seems kind of stopped there at 7th place behind Carl Edwards.
But Darrell talked at the top of the show, redemption. This has to be huge redemption for Matt Kenseth and that 20 team. If you go back to the chase when he was in a championship run, he finished 23rd here in November. They looked like they didn't even know where this racetrack was located. Here they are solidly in the top 10.
He would happily take the run he's having today here last fall. I mean, who knows what the problem was. That was one thing that kind of bothered me is they said they never did figure it out. But today they've got it going in the right direction, and this cloud cover has changed everything. It's made some guys that were not very good come alive here.
And it's enabled Kevin Harvick to pad his lead by a couple of tenths. It's now 3/4 of a second over Dale Earnhardt Jr. You see the air temp has not changed since the start of the race, but that sun has brought the track temp up about 5 degrees. Kyle and Kurt Busch not where they expected to be today, fighting for 14th.
Yeah, Kurt Busch, it was only a few laps ago. He was inside the top 10, definitely starting to slide backwards. In fact, you're going to see Jamie McMurray in the 1 go right by him there.
Well, Larry, I think I'm hearing that he may have an engine problem, the 41. And you saw on the straightaway, he thinks he's losing a cylinder, and that's what would show up the most when you get up on the straightaway. Kind of hurts the RPM, so we'll see what happens with the 41 going forward here.
He's now dropped to 16. That pass by Kyle Larson doesn't count. Larson's still a lap down.
But he's in the lucky dog spot, the 42 is.
Alex Bowman's car came to pit road and is being pushed back to the garage, where it will join Morgan Shepherd out of the race. 4th closing up, Keselowski's Ford, Jimmy Johnson's Chevrolet.
We're getting confirmation that Kurt Busch, that 41, he's having some engine issues, definitely. Mike and Darrell, we're less than 100 laps to go in this 312-lap race. We have 18 drivers on the lead lap. We have about 8 or 9 drivers fighting for the free pass. We have 42 of the 43 drivers that started this race out there still on the racetrack.
Johnson, Keselowski battling for 4th.
As I look at the scoring monitor, Harvick just ran a 27-12. Earnhardt's a tick quicker at an 05. Logano's at 12. Keselowski's at 18, and Jimmy Johnson's at 11. Edwards is at a 14. Those first 6 cars are all over each other.
Well, Jimmy Johnson tried, and he had to back out of it. Traffic in the form of the 30 Parker Kligerman would not allow them to stay double wide and pass that lap car at the entrance to the corner.
Mike, you talk about traffic. I just spoke about 42 drivers out there on the racetrack. There's no part of this racetrack that's not covered with cars and drivers right now.
Now Johnson completes the pass. Keselowski holds close, and they're about 3 seconds behind race leader Kevin Harvick. Dale Jr. 8/10 back. Joey Logano a 1.5 off the lead with 95 laps to go in Phoenix.
Hang on, Jay.
Green flag, all rolling. You're clear. All rolling good.
Corner right there with you.
Right behind you. Get the mark back. Carling's behind him. He's slipping and sliding.
87 laps to go in the desert. Kevin Harvick. Now that the track is fully shaded, he's expanded his lead to 1 second. Over Dale Earnhardt Jr., Joey Logano, Jimmy Johnson, Brad Keselowski. 18 cars are on the lead lap. The top 9 were all last on pit road at lap 163. 63 laps ago, so a while before they're due for what should be their final service of the day. We asked you to show us how you get ready for race day. Here's a KFC social media pit stop. How do you KFC? Now that's just cute.
Larry, Mike, that 88 is coming to the front. He's a little quicker than Kevin right now. And I think Dale Jr. is standing on the gas. I think he's going to chase that 4 car down here before long, and they'll have a battle for the lead.
But just remember, most of these leaders were on pit road under caution lap 163. As we heard Steve Letarte talking about it, you can see the gap closing there. I think we're going to see them on pit road in the next 10 to 12 laps. If they can go at least 10 more laps, we know that would be their final stop should we stay green.
But Larry, so when I say that, and then it's what you said, maybe the 4 cars backed it down a little bit. You know, maybe he's trying to stretch this run here to get into that window. So maybe he's backed it down a little bit and saving some fuel.
But now we're talking strategy. The 5 drivers that stopped on the caution at lap 188. Newman's 11th or 10th. Boyer's 11th. Kyle Busch is 13th. McMurray 15th. Hamlin behind him, and Kane. How could this play into their hands?
Well, they're probably going to stay out for a while, because by my calculations, they should be able to go to about lap 255 to 260. If nothing else, they sit there and they hope a caution comes out after all these other lead lap drivers make their green flag stop.
Okay, a lot of racing left here with 83 to go. In the new movie Need for Speed, Aaron Paul plays a street racer who joins a cross-country race with revenge on his mind. So we'll let the cars do the talking, and we'll crank it up. To go. Now Joey Logano just fell back behind Kurt Busch, and we know Kurt has engine trouble. He kind of faded behind Busch and then picked it up again past Busch, but here he comes to pit road.
So with 80 laps to go, Matt, he's going to have to make another stop.
They've told him to wait on fuel, but Larry Mack, like you said, it's going to be too far out of his window. Joey Logano told the team to get ready. I'll be coming next time. The guys leaped up on the wall. They were not anticipating him coming for a few more laps. Joey slides to a stop. Remember, so many guys over the wall at Penske Racing made changes in key positions. Solid stop so far, Steve, for the 22.
Well, Matt, Jimmy Johnson comes down pit road to the intent of his team. He's saying that his car has pretty good drive up off the corner. He's been trying some different lines. They're going to make a chassis adjustment as they change the right side tires. Gas goes in, and it's a 2-tire pit stop. Matt Yoder.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to make it 2 wins in a row. They're going to pack that fuel cell full of fuel. 4 tires for this stop, waiting on fuel, and he is away.
Now, both he and Jimmy Johnson waited on fuel, Larry, indicating they're going to try to roll the dice and go the distance from here.
That would be a big roll of the dice because they didn't even go the 75 laps that they needed to go, and that included 17 caution laps because we know that stretches it out right there.
All right, how about our leader's strategy, Krista?
Well, they had talked about trying to make it till about lap 245. He is coming this time for 4 tires and fuel. The 4 is on pit road. Brad Keselowski, meanwhile, he was as confused by Joey Logano's stop as anyone. He came on the radio and said, "What's going on with Joey?" Joey Meyer, his spotter, said, "It's a scheduled stop." The 2 will come this lap as well.
Marcus Ambrose in along with Tony Stewart. As the pit window is open, they're thinking they can go from here the rest of the way on fuel as Brad Keselowski and race leader Kevin Harvick come to the pit lane. That will put Carl Edwards in the lead for the first time today. He's the defending champion of this race.
But, you know, to Krista's point on Brad Keselowski, he was able to go 4 more laps longer than his teammate, Joey Logano.
You know, Logano had to feel something, Larry. He had to think something was going on. He wouldn't have dove on pit road. They weren't ready for him. He had to feel like he had a tire going down. Maybe he gotten some trash on the tires because he was falling back. And I think he felt like there was something wrong.
Edwards is in as well. He gives up the lead to Jeff Gordon.
I feel like all of the drivers that are just pitting right now, like Keselowski, like Carl Edwards in the 99, especially Jeff Gordon in the 24, regardless of when he pits, I think they can make it to the end.
74 laps to go.
Something happened to the 14. He went in the 3rd and 4th turn. The car took off. I don't think he hit the wall, but he got mighty close if he didn't. That's 4 fresh tires. Maybe the car just didn't have a good feel on that first time out, first lap out.
So of the lead lap cars that stopped first, we're still waiting on Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth, and Kurt Busch. Now, we thought Joey Logano came in early. Matt, what was the story?
Well, after the stop, they weighed the fuel cans and they told Joey, "We are close. If you can save some fuel, save it, but we are close."
See, that's what we just never know.
Nope.
How far these guys can go until they have to go.
But I saw him on the racetrack, Darrell, as Greg Biffle comes to the pit lane. He got up behind Kurt Busch. He did not make the pass. It's as if something went wrong on that race car, took him a lap. He got by Kurt and then ducked. But he'd already called his pit and said, "I'm coming."
Yeah, I'm certain he thought he had a tire going down or some issue, or he wouldn't have come on pit road unexpected.
Yeah, he'll now have to go 79 laps, and that would be green flag laps if we don't have a caution.
He can do it.
Jeff Gordon is still out there as here's Kyle Larson. Now, Gordon last stopped at lap 163. 78 laps ago. Not quite into gambling range quite yet, and now he peels off. And he's in along with Matt Kenseth.
See, there's 78 laps right there, Larry, and so I think these guys are probably going to stretch it.
Ryan Newman will become the new leader in the 31.
And remember, Ryan Newman was one of those 5 drivers that pitted on that last caution at lap 188.
Right, they've all risen to the top. Boyer now 2nd, Kyle Busch 3rd, McMurray 4th, and Hamlin 6th.
Now's when, I mean, as a driver, you just leave everything up to the crew chief. You know, do I have enough fuel to make it? I'm doing my job. Hope you guys are doing yours, and hopefully it'll all work out.
You could see them holding Jeff Gordon in that 24 car till they absolutely knew that fuel cell was full of Sunoco race fuel.
Well, that was one thing about Johnson, Larry. He took 2 tires, but they sat there forever putting the fuel in the car. It seemed like they would have gone on with 4.
Saw the same thing with Jeff Gordon in his 24 car.
Brad Keselowski getting back on the lead lap. He's got fresh tires. Newman's been out there a while.
But what Newman in the 31 that we just saw and riding here with Clint Boyer in the 15, we know they can go a number of laps further on fuel, but you could see how much ground they were giving up to those fresher tires.
Back straightaway down on the apron. That is Kurt Busch. That ailing engine may be giving it up.
Yeah, I think so. It's been sounding worse. Every time you go by, it get my attention because it's making a really rattle sound, so I guess it finally gave up.
Yeah, we heard Parker Kligerman in the 30 car come back by, sound like he was down on cylinder. I saw him go to the garage area.
67 laps to go. We know the front six, including Eric Almirola, who's moving to 5th place, will need one more pit stop. Almirola's due in the next 5 to 8 laps. The others can run considerably longer. This month, the birthplace of legends, ready to rock as the Big East tournament comes to America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1. Live from Madison Square Garden. The only place to see it is on Fox Sports 1 as the yellow lights are ablaze for debris in turn 3 at lap 247.
That's exactly what Ryan Newman, Clint Boyer, those drivers that pitted on that last caution were looking for, because now we only have 11 drivers on the lead lap.
Yeah, Keselowski is the last car on the lead lap. Edwards a lap down. Gordon a lap down. Kenseth's a lap down. Stewart a lap down.
And only Carl Edwards is going to get that lap back. He'll be the free pass car. That's what we talked about, how this race could fall right into the hands of the 5 drivers who pitted late on the last caution, plus Eric Almirola. His team gambled, and he's right up there in the top 5.
And they'll have to come to pit road, but this was a perfect world for them because of how many drivers are a lap down now.
And you know what that does, guys? You watch this restart. It's really going to get crazy.
So Newman brings them in, and there are the cars that had not yet made their green flag pit stop. Steve.
Ryan Newman's going to take just right side tires and fuel. They're going to want to add a little tape to the grill for Ryan Newman to help the handling. Meanwhile, Clint Boyer, they're going to take 4 tires. He's a little bit loose. Matt.
Steve, similar to his teammate, the 11 Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch in the 18 machine, he has basically been battling a free race car for much of this race. Adjustments just don't seem to help, Steve.
Matt, Jimmy Johnson's back in this time. They're going to make a 4-tire stop on his Lowe's Chevy. They also made a chassis adjustment.
I think that was a great move for Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus, because they knew they couldn't make it to the end on fuel, and they were still on the lead lap.
Pretty smart to take 2 and get that track position and not lose that lap on the last stop.
Green flag waves. We're back. Kevin Harvick gets a boot from Joey Logano, and he beats Dale Earnhardt Jr. down to turn 1. 16 cars did not pit. They took the wave around, and that adds 5 more back onto the lead lap. So 17 cars on the lead lap to race 61 more laps to the checkered flag.
And Darrell, we were watching Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 88 just a few laps ago before that caution. Seemed like he was just nipping away at Kevin Harvick in that 4. This would be the opportunity if you're going to do it.
Yeah, I think, Larry, what I saw there was maybe, on second thought, I believe Harvick was saving a little bit of fuel, maybe allowed Dale Jr. to close a little bit. I don't know. Unless something really weird happens, that 4 car is going to be mighty hard to beat.
10th place, Clint Boyer against Jimmy Johnson. And just ahead, that blue 43. Nice job by Trent Owens, the crew chief, leaving his driver, Eric Almirola, out there till he was almost on fumes. They caught the caution before they had to pit, stayed on the lead lap. Good move.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson in that 48 right there came to pit road, and they took 4 tires plus filled that thing up with fuel.
Yeah, I think we second-guessed Chad, which we should never do. Chad took the 2, and I think it was to maintain on the lead lap, and then he come back and got 4.
And that will be our 5-hour energy, big move of the race. Coming in on this caution flag for 4 tires after they just recently got 2.
Well, I think they knew they were a little short on fuel, so this was a great opportunity to pack that fuel cell with fuel. We've downplayed the value of 4 fresh tires, but with this many laps to go, it can't hurt you because you really didn't give up anything.
No, that was a great call. Again.
58 laps to go.
Just watching the scoring monitor again. Kevin Harvick's got a 10th to 2 in the bank almost every lap. 88's right there with him, but he's still about a 10th and a half off. Matt, what do they say about the 088?
Well, he's just riding along, trying to score another win. And, you know, DW, one of the new rules this year in Sprint Cup, spotters are not allowed to have a cell phone with them on top of the spotter stand. And some fans are calling out Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s longtime spotter, TJ Majors, because he's tweeting. Well, they're right, he is. From his sofa at home, TJ is not here this weekend due to a medical issue. We hope that he'll be back next week. He and Dale Earnhardt Jr. go all the way back to the DEI days. And DW, you know from all your years of driving, your spotter, he's just not your friend. He's almost like your brother.
It's their other set of eyes. You got to have them.
Jeff Dickerson up there for Dale Jr. today, up on the spotter's stand. 55 laps to go. Kevin Harvick is trying to become the 10th different driver to put the number 4 into victory lane in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Rex White won the 1960 championship, 26 wins with number 4.
Good on fuel to the end. Do what you got to do. Nice and smooth.
Look in the mirror, or look straight ahead. Nice and smooth.
Good advice. Just to follow those instructions, and victory circle's waiting for you. That 4 car has just been, we knew all the testing that's been done all winter long. Everywhere they went, Charlotte, short tracks, Nashville, you name it. The 4 car has always been the fastest car there. Practice, everything here this weekend, the 4 car has led every category that we keep.
Rex White had 26 wins in the 4. He's on the Hall of Fame ballot. Ernie Irvan had 7. Sterling Marlin had 6, including the Daytona 500. And of the 6 drivers with 1 win with that number, 1 stands out. Al Keller at Linden, New Jersey, driving band leader Paul Whiteman's Jaguar, became the only European and the first foreign nameplate to win in NASCAR way back in the day.
Got a little battle here for 7th with Jamie McMurray in that 1 and Jimmy Johnson in the 48. And here's another one with Eric Almirola in the 43 and Denny Hamlin in the 11. That's a battle for the top 10, the 10th spot.
Well, Jimmy, with those 4 fresh tires, that should really pay some dividends here as we get deeper into this run. We'll see how that works out for these guys. They're awfully shrewd, and they always seem to make the right call.
There is what he lacks to Kevin Harvick right now. Harvick middle of the back straightaway. 48 laps to go when they come around, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. is eating into Kevin Harvick's lead a few hundredths of a second per lap as we take you side by side.
What's going on up there?
Welcome home, Chuck. This is all for you.
Oh. Are you serious?
Join me in welcoming Lieutenant Chuck Nat home.
I spent 2 years thinking about one moment. He set me up. What are you thinking, Toby? It's time we make him pay.
Why jump parole unless you are innocent and hell-bent to right a wrong?
You are moving, baby.
You may want to close your eyes for this.
Need for Speed. Rated PG-13 in 3D and Real D March 14th.
What if it were possible to capture the precision, passion, and beauty that goes into what you do? A better web starts with your website. Create yours at Squarespace.
Efficiency, performance, safety, integrated technology. These are things you can learn. And then there are the things you're just born with. Now, well-qualified lessee is going to Dart GT with 184 horsepower, heated leather, and 8.4-inch touchscreen for $189 per month.
Kevin Harvick, last lap by, fastest car on the racetrack, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. is hanging tough. That gap stays constant at 3/4 of a second, first to second, keeping close tabs on one another as they lap past Joe Nemechek.
You know, Mike, I look at these two cars, the 4 and the 88, and I know that 4 is fast. We've documented that all day. I just don't know if I'm sure how fast the 88 is. I just don't know how much Dale Jr. is holding back. But I think they're both thinking fuel a little bit. I know the 4 is. I don't know. That 88 could have a little something in the bank here that he hasn't shown us yet.
Now in third place, a second behind Earnhardt, Joey Logano has led a lot of laps today, 71 of them. He's run up front all day, Matt.
Mike, crew chief Todd Gordon and the Penske engineers have worked the numbers. And if you're a Joey Logano fan, the good news, your man will make it to the finish and the cool down lap. The bad news, if we get a green-white checker finish, which we've had here in the past, it might not be good news. He might not make it to the finish. They are close for a green-white checker.
Well, and Matt, as you know, like all the crew chiefs, just like Todd Gordon, I've studied the trends of the race. And when I look at our last 9 spring races here at Phoenix, our last caution comes on an average around lap 30 to 35. And yes, we had a green-white checkered here 1 year ago.
Now look at this graphic. Logano at 2:33, Earnhardt Jr. just 1 lap after him. Harvick, Keselowski at 2:37. The one driver who appears to be safe in that top 5 is Ryan Newman, who didn't stop until 2:48, along with Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Jamie McMurray, Clint Boyer, Eric Almirola, Edwards, and Hamlin.
Well, I'm going to keep an eye on that 48. Now, they're sitting in pretty good shape, too.
When I look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. and I look at Joey Logano, I go back to what Steve Letarte said earlier. We have no idea how much they can save under caution. We did have those 4 caution laps under that last caution flag. You know, look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. and we all, I think, were wondering, you know, what would the win at Daytona do coming in here to Phoenix? We know that the racing, there's nothing relative. But when I look at his last 10 races, 9 the end of last year and the 1 win this year, those 10 races, 6 top 5s and 9 top 10s. This started at the end of 2013 and it's carried right into this year.
Well, I think what that win did for him, and I saw it after the race, I saw it all the time we've been out here, relief. That was a word I heard him say. With no wins last year, I know that was driving him and Letarte crazy. They've got that win. The pressure's off. Man, they're out here, they're having fun. And they wasn't having that much fun last year.
So there's Earnhardt, Logano 3rd, Keselowski 4th, Newman 5th, and Kyle Busch. And Jimmy Johnson has risen to 7th, but he's 6.5, make it 6.4 now off the lead. And again, this lap, he was a little more than 1/10 of a second faster than the race leader.
And that's been happening a lot, especially as Kevin Harvick in the 4, our leader, gets in the lap traffic. But it's not like Jimmy Johnson's able to take a big bite out of that lead.
No, he's just not getting by the 18 of Kyle Busch going in turn 1. So that's another spot. And he's working it. Larry, I just saw him get into turn 1 there with the back end wiggling around. He is driving the wheels off of her right now.
Now let's drop back just a bit to Jamie McMurray. The Ganassi cars qualified well, and McMurray is in 8th while his rookie teammate is a lap down. McMurray is 8 seconds, make that 7 seconds now off the lead, and caution is out.
Debris, turn 1.
And you heard the reason, debris in turn 1. This will be the 6th caution of the day at lap 278. That'll be a break for Casey Mears. He will get the free pass.
Man, guys, what are we going to do here? We got enough gas for the caution. The caution will help us on that. But what do we do about tires? How about if you're leading the race, Kevin Harvick, Dale Jr., they pretty much have to stay out, you think?
Yeah, you know, Michael, I just don't see the tires giving up that much. I know that the 48 is sitting in pretty good shape here with 4 fresh ones, but that 4 car's been awfully good. I say track position is king.
Yeah, the lap times have been really impressive for Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch even, and Clint Boyer. Those guys that had fresher tires, they seem to be making up some ground, but I don't think you can pit out of the lead and still win this race.
I don't either, buddy.
Yeah, Michael and Darrell, I don't think the concern is tires, but I think when I look at our top 4 drivers, Harvick, Earnhardt, Logano, and Keselowski, they pitted well before lap 240. Remember in the fall, Carl Edwards pitted on lap 248 and ran out of fuel with 2 laps to go.
So this will be a brief caution. Pit road is open. And the front runners stay out.
They must have not told the drivers it was open because nobody even looked. Not anybody up near the front.
Denny Hamlin will come in. So will Matt Kenseth, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, all toward the back of the lead lap. Steve?
Right side tires only for Matt Kenseth on this step. Yeah, just right sides. Let's go to Matt.
And the 14 of Tony Stewart is in. They're going to go with 4 tires, free on entry and tight through the center rolling is what Tony Stewart said. The 11 is in as well, just not hitting on it with the 11. Krista?
Jeff Gordon also in the plan for the 24, 2 right side tires.
Lots of varying strategy, but the front 4 have rolled the dice. No pit stop under this caution.
When you switch to Sprint's new family plan, friends are like family. So who's going to be in yours?
How about a few Facebook friends?
But the more people you add, the lower the rate.
Then add my work group.
Add up to 10 people and everyone gets unlimited talk, text, and 1 gig of data for as low as $25 a month each.
Great. Who else you got?
Hi, Mom. Hi, honey. I brought Rubina. Hi, Rubina.
Are the bills separate?
All the bills are separate.
Oh, hi, my love. Hi.
The family plan from Sprint. With a new price, new plan, and an all-new network. Visit a Sprint store today.
Build anything with the new Toyota Tundra. Toyota, let's go places.
Huh. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Yep. Everybody knows that.
Well, did you know the ancient pyramids were actually a mistake?
Uh-oh. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Saturday Baseball is coming to America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1, and it all starts April 5th. The new home for Saturday Baseball, Fox Sports 1.
1 to go. Aha.
.31 laps to go. .17 lead lap cars make that 18 with Casey Mears. We've had 8 laps of caution, Larry, since the top 4 have pitted. Is that going to be enough for them to get to the finish?
Steve Letart's point, we have no idea how much they've been saving under caution. It's still going to be very close.
Yeah, I mean, look at the guys up front. They want to win races. They want to win a race. Harvick wants to win a race. Junior's already got one. Here's the deal. That 4 car better get him a nice clean start right here. He doesn't want to go down into turn 1 and have that 88 hold him up a little while because those 2 Penske cars are lurking right there behind him.
Last week, Denny Hamlin won everything up to the 500. He finished second. This week, as you saw in the graphic, Kevin Harvick has led every category and missed the top 12 in the final round of knockout qualifying by 1,000th of a second. Otherwise, he's led everything. Can he seal the deal as we get the restart green with 30 laps to go? Green flag.
Hart got him a nice start and Junior didn't. That's just what the 4 car needed. Get out there, get a little gap. Got guys who got Logano and Junior racing beside each other. That'll slow them down. Lots of things happening behind the leader right now.
Newman and Keselowski side by side. Then the 48 of Jimmy Johnson.
I mean, I know that Kevin Harvick right now, ideally, he'd say, man, just don't anybody mess up. Let's get this thing done. But if he could only see in his mirror what we see from up here, that ain't going to happen. There are cars on the apron. His car's up against the outside wall. Turn 3 is crazy right now. Holy smoly.
3 wide and then some. Now here comes Johnson looking at Newman. Brian Newman in 5th place.
Here's a wad here, 3 wide. Biffle all the way well down on the apron in that 16.
Oh, baby. Never.
Martin Truex, same thing.
Car around on the back over there. Got the 38's got a flat tire, I think.
Left rear.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
7th caution of the afternoon. And it's for David Gilliland.
They're just going to bunch him up again, and Harv's got to hit that restart.
3. He's trying to get it going now.
Gilliland was 28th. 2 laps down.
You can see the left rear. He got a lot of damage there on the left rear. The car just spun around with him.
Yeah, we don't run that safety inner liner inside the Goodyear tire here at Phoenix. So when that outer tire goes down, you're pretty much on the rim. But when I look at our top 4 drivers right now with this caution, Harvick, Earnhardt, Logano, and Keselowski, there's no question this helps them. This is going to buy them more fuel, because really and truly, to me, the 2 drivers that really could be in trouble would be Joey Logano and Dale Earnhardt Jr., because they pitted well before Harvick and Brad Keselowski did.
Gilliland going around to bring out the caution. Couldn't get to pit road soon enough with that tire going down. Ricky Stenhouse will get the free pass and move back up onto the lead lap. We'll restart with 19 lead lap cars, unless some of those 1 lap down cars wait and take the wave around.
You know, it's something I'm watching, and it's totally out of character. But Junior drives alongside of Kevin Harvick there. It's like to say, yoo-hoo, I'm here, and I'm about ready to pounce on you.
And I know the pits are open. These guys, they can pack that pit equipment up. They've made their bed. They have to lay in it now. I mean, we'll see some drivers like I'm seeing Denny Hamlin in the 11 come to pit road. But as far as these guys at the front, going back racing with just roughly 20 to go, there's no way you come back to pit road.
25 laps to go in Phoenix.
Next week, NASCAR on Fox rolls on to Sin City, where it takes a lot of gambling and a little bit of luck to get to victory lane.
Light the candles. Happy birthday, Matt Kenseth.
It's going to be a wild ride in Vegas next week on Fox.
That is next Sunday. But we've got this duel in the desert to finish off right here. Kevin Harvick has been able to hold off Dale Earnhardt Jr. But with 25 to go, we're going to have this restart. And then it's on, because everybody on that lead lap mindful of the idea that if you win, you're effectively in the chase. Winning now means so much more.
There's just so much at stake with these front runners. Only guy that's really got no pressure on him right now at this point is Dale Jr. Everybody else has got a point to prove, man. And what a great place to prove it. Got an opportunity here. Don't want to let it slip away.
This is the 4th time that Kevin Harvick has led over 200 laps in a race. The prior 3 times he won 2 of them. Dale Jr. won the other. That was at Richmond 8 years ago.
It's all about the restart right now. If he can get another good start, and of course Junior got a terrible start. So if Harv can get out front, get that little gap, I think he'll be okay. But he does not want to get caught side by side with that 88 car, because I'm telling you, them 2 yellow cars, they will pounce on them if they do.
Quick hello to our technical director, John Howard. He's with his dad, Gary, who's in hospital. They are watching the race, and I want to wish Gary a speedy recovery. Well, we're coming up on 20 to go. That's our sprint 20 to go. And as this one winds toward conclusion, Kevin Harvick has had it pretty much his own way the whole weekend. But this restart, does this mean everything right here?
It's everything. I mean, it's like I'm just telling you. You don't want to go into turn 1. Harvick doesn't want racing Dale Jr. side by side. They get to messing with each other. And the 22 of Logano or the 2 of Keselowski, they'll go through the dog leg back there, through the elbow, and they'll come out leading this race. And now you got your hands full.
Larry, the one driver who looked in that last green run like he was moving up, Jimmy Johnson, with those 4 tires.
Well, and I think Jimmy Johnson, he wants to get back racing. You know, when I look at Harvick and Earnhardt, Logano, Keselowski, another caution lap or two is not hurting their feelings. Jimmy Johnson's got plenty of fuel, 4 fresh tires. Let's throw this green flag. Let's get back at it.
I think those 4 tires on Johnson would have been huge if we had a long green. But because we're getting these cautions and we're not really putting any laps on the tires, I'm not sure they're going to pay off like I thought they would.
That's what we'll be looking for in our sprint. 20 to go. 19 cars on the lead lap. Only 3 cars out of the race. Alex Bowman returned for a while, then took his ailing car back to the garage, joining Parker Kligerman and Morgan Shepherd.
Mike, this from a driver's perspective, this is the most nerve-wracking part of the race. There's so much tension and pressure on the driver. For Harvick, for instance, don't miss a shift. Don't spin the tires. Get down in turn 1. Get back out front. Get that little lead and get going. But right now, everybody's on edge about this restart.
So, Larry, have we now run enough caution laps that everybody should be confident they have enough Sunoco race fuel to make it to the checkered flag and a green-white checker or 2 if necessary?
I don't know about the green-white checkered, but you see them shutting these engines off. With them adding a caution lap now, we are now up to 13 caution laps that they've been able to save fuel, and that could be worth a lot. But when I look at Kevin Harvick, I talked about Carl Edwards running out of fuel with 2 laps to go in November. Guess who the beneficiary was? Kevin Harvick.
I loved watching Dale Jr. on Letterman this week. David Letterman is a vintage car collector. He owns several race teams. He had that gleam in his eye when he looked at Junior and said, so you're racing 200 miles an hour, but you're shutting the car off to save gas? What's up with that? and Junior did a good job of explaining.
Yeah, strategy, man, strategy.
All right, strategy time is over. They're going to take the green flag with 21 laps to go. Kevin Harvick, Dale Earnhardt Jr., front row Chevys, second row Fords, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, third row Chevys, Ryan Newman, Jimmy Johnson, then Kyle Busch's Toyota, Jamie McMurray's Chevrolet, a Toyota for Clint Boyer, and a Chevy for Jeff Gordon. Here we go.
Uh-oh. Logano is giving Harvick a nice shove down into the turn. That gets him out front.
And he got a great run through turn 1 and 2, just pulled away 3 or 4 car lengths from Earnhardt and Logano.
But look at Junior on the high side. Had that momentum, had a little more banking, wobbles it into turn 3, and they touch.
Oh, boy, he got up the track there, too, and that's going to hurt him. Here comes the 22 back on the inside with the 2 looking, maybe trying to make a move. Whoa, that's tough racing right there, guys, when you're side by side.
And look at Ryan Newman in that 31 trying to take that 4th. He'll take the 4th spot away from Keselowski.
All right,
there comes
the 48 through the dog leg. He's going to cut to the bottom.
Earnhardt kept trying to pinch Logano down on the racetrack. Joey held his ground. Junior clears Logano for second. Whoa. And Keselowski gets a tap from Newman that gets him loose. Here comes Johnson on the inside.
And here comes Wild Thing. Kyle Busch at 18. He has been fighting all day long with that race car.
Business has picked up. 3 wide behind them. Wow.
Matt Kenseth just went down on the apron to pass the 15 of Boyer and the 5 of Kane, and he's going to make it stick in the 3.
That'll move Kenseth up to 11.
That was it. You know what that restart reminded me of last year? Remember, Brad Keselowski gave Carl Edwards a big shot to get him out front, and that's exactly what Logano did. He gave Harvick a big shot. He cleared everybody, and he's on his way.
Jimmy Johnson side by side with Newman. This is for 5th.
He made that top side work. He's going to pass Newman on the outside.
You know, the thing that I keep saying, I don't know why I keep thinking this, but I think Junior has got a little bit of car left. And I just really think he might be able to chase Harvick back down.
All right, we continue under green, but let's take a look back at a couple of close calls. Coming off that restart. First, the 88. With the 22 of Logano on the inside, a little bump there.
A little brush. Got him up out of the groove, but it didn't hurt him that bad. Logano stayed off of him.
1 lap later, 31, Ryan Newman and Keselowski. And that opened the door there for Jimmy Johnson.
Mike.
Oh, turn 2. Somebody's blowing up, and it's Kurt Busch.
Kurt Busch. But the 88 just ran his fastest lap of the race.
We just blew up.
I tell you, this thing is far from over.
Caution flag number 8 at lap 297. Tough break for the outlaw, Kurt Busch.
So we get another restart.
And rookie Kyle Larson will get the free pass and move back up onto the lead lap.
Yeah, he's been in that position for quite some time, and he finally gets that lap back. So good job for him. He's going to get him a nice top 20 out of this thing, looks like.
Nice job by the rookie. And you'll see Kurt Busch come into the picture here.
Yeah, that thing has been ailing for quite some time. We documented that way back when, and she finally let go.
Up in smoke. His car owner Gene Haas met with Formula One officials in a 2-hour closed-door meeting. Haas has applied for a Formula One owner's license. That'll be interesting. And Kurt Busch still has a lot of interest in trying to run the Indy 500 and do the Indy Charlotte double Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, no one knows what goes on behind closed doors.
14 laps to go. Chris Myers.
Mike, with Michael Waltrip, and a quick recap. You know, Kevin Harvick has led over 200 laps. The way it started out with Brad Keselowski on the pole and his Roger Penske Ford teammate Joey Logano right there. You see Logano taking the early lead and dominating in the first half of the race, along with Kevin Harvick, who Michael was using a lot of the track early.
Yeah, running off the racetrack in the turns. We see him do that on the back straightaway, but Kevin's car is handling so well, and he is so good here, Chris. He knows there's extra grip below that yellow line. He dips down there.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has hung around the front all afternoon here, getting into second place as he moves ahead of Joey Logano. And then Danica Patrick, she gets into a little bit of a mix-up here, and it damaged part of the car, which caused a tire problem soon after.
Yeah, and so does David Gillen. He blows a left rear tire, and around he spins. And that set up several restarts here late in the going. The most recent caution is Kurt Busch blowing up off turn 2. His engine's been sired. But, Chris, this is when Kevin Harvick has really shined. All the pressure's been on him. They've been lined up right beside him, right behind him, and he's pulled off restart after restart to keep that lead.
8 leaders, 14 different lead changes. The lead change is a larger number than we had last year. And, of course, we're under our 8th caution. We've talked about Kevin Harvick, his history here in Phoenix, trying to win for the 5th time. That'd be the most of any driver. Nicknamed, among many nicknames, the closer. But for a guy who's been out in front, he certainly knows how to be the leader or protect the lead.
Well, we talked to him in the grid walk and said, you're the leading man today. You've been fast every time you've been in this car. Can you win it? And he thought he could. He's obviously got a great car underneath of him. Rodney Childers has called some great shots, and he's in a position to bring home a win.
With 13 to go, Michael, in terms of these restarts here, what have you seen from Harvick so far? Obviously, it's held up, and who can challenge him with Junior, Logano, Keselowski, and Johnson behind?
Junior just hasn't been able to take off and get down to turn 1 beside Harvick, which has been a huge advantage for Kevin. It's making him go through turns 1 and 2, pick up 4 or 5 car lengths, and be able to run away from these guys. Junior's been side by side with other racers. He just needs to get his best restart of the day right now, try to get down into turn 1 beside Harvick, hold him down, and hopefully grab the lead off 2.
And Mike Joy chronicled, obviously, Harvick's weekend. You know, going back into Daytona, he thought he had a pretty good car. He never minds starting from the back or how to weave his way through, but it is important. Something he talked about the minute he joined Tony Stewart and Stewart Haas Racing was he wanted to get a win right away for the new team. Something Kenseth talked about last year when he first went to Joe Gibbs Racing. And as Harvick said, you know, all that's left for me to get is a championship. Tony Stewart's the kind of guy, a 3-time champ, who can push me for that. And if he gets the win here today, like Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's all but guaranteed of being in the chase again and can work from there.
You know, we talked about how important it was for Stewart Haas Racing to rebound after a dismal Daytona. Only one car in the top 20, and that was Harvick in 13th, and they've done that. They got to close the deal, but today they've been running strong. You can see Stewart's back to 19th. He's been near the top 10 most all day long. He's had his leg injury and his issues with that, but it seems like he's been able to fight through those and is in a position to get a top 10.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., you know, when he won the Daytona 500 the only other time, that was his best year. He went on to win 6 races. Let's look at drivers, how they did after they started out with the Daytona 500 win and went on for the next season.
Yeah, and Jeff Gordon had an amazing 1997. Matt Kenseth obviously has moved over from Roush Racing. Now he's driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. How emotional was that win for him a year ago with the new team? That's got to be the same emotions that Harvick's feeling right now driving with his new crew.
Is there much of an advantage, Michael? Now we're down to 12 laps with teammates Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski behind Harvick and Junior. Even though they're both Chevys, with Penske teammates, can they pull off something, or is it all about speed at this point?
How cool is it seeing Team Penske, those two yellow Fords running third and fourth? They've been right there together all day long. That just reminds you of IndyCar racing when Mr. Penske's cars always run up front and run together. They've been solid all day long. They're just looking for a slip. They're looking for Dale Jr. to get down in the corner beside Harvick. Maybe those two rub and those Penske cars can pounce.
Let's head back upstairs for the dramatic finish here in Phoenix. Race 2 of the 36 race season. Rejoin Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds, and Mike Joy.
One thing that's bothering me a little bit, and I'm sure Kevin Harvick is seeing the same thing that I am, is look where the stay dry is. Look where the oil was. That's that oil, that's that white line around the bottom of the track right there. That's his groove. If he goes in there and catches that and gets a little loose or slips a little bit, man, he could have his hands full.
Darrell, you won 84 of these races, and I know a lot of them, especially at Bristol. You had the dominant car. You ran out front all day, and I know if you were in Kevin Harvick's seat right now, you'd be saying, how many more of these dang restarts have I got to win?
Yeah, it doesn't matter how dominant a car you have, Mike. You know there's so many things that could happen. And in your mind, that's the thing that you got to do. You got to put all those things that could happen. Stay dry in the first turn, miss a gear, spin the tires. You could drive yourself crazy coming to get this last green. Really, all you need to do is take a deep breath, relax, and be ready to go.
Now, they've blown off the speedy dry, but Harvick has elected to restart on the inside.
Well, he has to, Mike. That's been his line. And I don't know that there's a lot of oil down there. I didn't see a lot of oil come out of the 41 when he came into the garage area. But nonetheless, it is something to concern yourself about.
And, Mike, I can't add in a green-white checker, but I think with the 20 to 21 caution laps we've run since those top 4 were on pit road, I think from a fuel standpoint for the 312 laps, they should be good to go.
Well, this is the 8th caution flag of the day, and 5 of the last 6 races here have had exactly that many caution periods. So according to the trend, we'll wave this green and go straight to the checker.
Yeah, well, I'd hope we do, but I tell you, the way these guys are all racing back in there, and some on tires and some not, I'm not sure we're going to make it to without another caution.
All right, 20 cars on the lead lap. Here they come, 9 laps to go.
Oh, look at Logano. He's looking under Harvick going into turn 1. He wasn't able to get there, but he was sure looking.
Boy, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 got a great run through the middle of 1 and 2, off of 2 on the backstretch.
Remember, Larry, just before that caution came out, 88 ran his fastest lap of the day.
And they all stayed up above the speedy dry. Now here comes Keselowski on the outside, gunning for second.
Yeah, he's got something for Junior on the outside. They're going to go. Couldn't quite make it stick, but he's trying that outside and making it work. Boy, Junior better get. He did. He was able to get up in front of him right there.
Here comes Jeff Gordon right down on the bottom.
Yeah, the 31 and the 48 got together over there, broke their momentum, and Gordon was able to make the pass off the track down on the dog leg.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon in that 24, he got 2 in one pass that time.
Well, the 31 and the 48 were hung together, and I think it really helped Jeff make a pass on both of them.
So Gordon into the top 5. And of the first 5, Jeff Gordon has the most fuel.
Oh my, that 4-car just ran a 26.51. That's getting it on, boys.
It's close to his fastest lap of the race.
It is.
Six laps to go. Harvick 0.6 of a second up on Dale Jr.
And Mike, when you're Kevin Harvick, you're just praying nothing happens. When you're back in there about where Jimmy Johnson, some of those guys are, you're praying something happens and we get another caution. I get another shot at that guy. I don't even want to tell you how wide they were going into turn 3. I couldn't even count all of them. Looked like a covey of quails.
5 laps to go. The gap remains constant, first to second.
Really impressed with the run that Keselowski has put together here at the end of this race to get himself in the 3rd spot. He got that outside line working a little bit. I thought he was going to make a move on Junior, but Junior's too strong for him.
There'll be 4 laps to go, but both those Penske drivers there, Keselowski and the 2, Logano on the 22, sat on the front row. They both have been fast since they unloaded on Friday morning.
But you see that gap between the 4 and the 88? That's the gap that 4 car has had this whole weekend. That's just how much better he's been than everybody all weekend long.
Dale Jr. was a 1/10 of a second quicker that lap than Harvick. It's going to take more than that to get him to the leader with 4 laps to go.
Pretty nice anniversary present there, Delana, from your man if he pulls it off here with 4 laps to go.
3 now, 3 more circuits. And Junior has it down to half a second.
He's definitely making up some ground. He's closing, but I think it's going to be maybe too little too late.
Daryl, I think he makes it up. He makes it up getting in the corner down to the middle, then pays the price on the exit.
It sure looks that way off turn 4 particularly. He drives into 3, gets in there nice, but he can't make it stick.
2 laps to go.
I can't tell you what a thrill it is to drive a car like that 4 car today. As a driver, it's everything you can ask for. The pit crew has done their job. The car has been flawless. It's running to perfection. White flag in the air. 1 more lap for Kevin Harvick in the 4 car.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. still half a second back, giving it his all. Brad Keselowski 1.2, Logano 1.6, Jeff Gordon 2.7, then Jimmy Johnson, then side by side Edwards and Newman. Off turn 4, win 24, Kevin Harvick dominates in the desert.
She was freaky fast today, boys. Freaky fast.
Great job. What a race car. Great job, man. Thank you very, very much.
There's some guys both with some relief. Rodney leaves over there at Michaels, and he goes over here and starts this new team with Kevin Harvick. Kevin leaves the only racetrack team he's ever driven for, RCR. And what is the reward? A win.
And a prayer. That is Harvick's 5th Phoenix victory in 23 starts here, breaking a tie with Jimmy Johnson for most wins. He's won 3 of the last 4 here.
Must have some friends down in the first and second turn suite.
He'll let everyone up the front stretch enjoy this, I think.
Including his crew. This is Harvick's 11th year with a Sprint Cup victory, including the last 5 in a row.
There's his friends I was talking about. Actually in the pits.
It's the 20th career win for Stewart Haas. Harvick is the 3rd different driver to go to victory lane for this team. They have won at least 1 race in every one of the 6 years since this team was formed.
Look at this. He wants to go back. He wants to give the team a little love there. I don't blame him, man. They did a great job for you today, brother.
Kevin Harvick dominated the day in Phoenix. He's headed for victory lane.
Glad you're watching NASCAR on Fox from Phoenix. The Sprint Cup Racing post-race show presented by Sprint. And Kevin Harvick in the 4 car for Stewart Haas Racing. A dominant performance. This is his home away from home, his 5th win, most of any drivers in Phoenix. 224 laps he led. And who's their owner? Rick Hendrick from the competition, the super team that was in victory lane last week with Dale Earnhardt Jr., who wound up 2nd. Terrific start for Junior.
Certainly a great start to the year for Junior. Rick Hendrick built the engines and supports that team as well. So there's Dale Jr. telling Kevin Harvick. Yeah, how could you not tell Kevin Harvick, great job. What an amazing performance today.
78 consecutive laps led, and we talked about the weekend. Once he got out in front, the closer known for coming out of nowhere to win races. This time he got out in front front, stayed out in front, and just wouldn't let anybody, not even Dale Earnhardt Jr., get close. But one of the reasons he wanted to move after 13 years with one race team with Stewart-Haas Racing is thought he could get better engines, better cars, more of a championship run. Certainly the Hendrick Motorsports supplying some of that.
Yeah, and today was an example of being right when you figured something out. He thought he needed to move on, give him his best chance for a championship. But Chris, they can now focus on that championship. They're more than likely in the chase.
And congratulations from everybody. You'll know Delana, his wife, back home watching with son Keelan. And Keelan, usually we show him under the age of 2, the good luck charm. But on the West Coast trips, they often don't travel. But his wife, Delana, they just celebrated their 13-year anniversary. Kevin and Delana, they were married in Las Vegas 13 years ago on February the 28th. And this is a way that Kevin can celebrate his new ride with Keelan and Delana watching. And in Victory Lane in Arizona, Steve Burns is down there for the celebration.
And it's a wet Victory Lane, but Kevin Harvick will take it. How important is this win for you, just your second points race for Stewart-Haas Racing?
Oh, man. You know, this just solidified so many things and so many decisions, and just got to thank all these guys at Stewart-Haas Racing. I got to thank Sprint, the fans, Jimmy John's, Budweiser, Outback, Chevrolet, Hunt Brothers, everybody, Mobile One, who makes this thing go around. It's been so much work. See the time and effort that these guys have put in, but what a race car.
You had a dominant car, but did those caution flags, did that make you a little bit nervous?
It did, because the 22 was able to time the restarts there, and I knew that what was going to happen was he was going to take a shot down low, so I tried to do the best I could, and just really happy. Got to thank everybody at the Hendrick Engine Shop, all these cars sharing information, and Dale Jr. racing there for second was a lot of fun. So, man, this is awesome.
Hey, enjoy your win.
Thank you.
Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
An impressive weekend for Dale Earnhardt Jr. from start to finish, and it seemed like, Junior, your best shot was going to be that last restart, which got a little dicey.
Yeah, we got running side by side there for second, and just let Kevin get out there a little bit too far. I thought we was running him down those last few laps, but we was just too far away. Great job of Kevin, his whole team. They did a great job all weekend. They were fast, and we worked on our car. We got a little help from all our teammates, and a lot of hard work to get better and get better, and ended up where I thought we should have finished. We were a little faster at the end, but they were stellar, impressive as heck all weekend. So happy with National Guard, Diet Mountain Dew, Kelly Blue Book Chevrolet, and hope everybody enjoyed the race. We were really working our butts off in there and giving it everything they had.
Junior continues that momentum from late last fall.
With Jimmy Johnson, who finished just outside the top 5, but it looked like you guys had the pit strategy figured out there late in the race. What were you missing in this event?
We were a decent car all day long. I think we just need a little bit more time with this new package to dial in our race car. And from where we unloaded to where we raced today, had a very, very strong Chevrolet, Lowe's Cobalt Tools Chevrolet. So just a little bit more time, and I think we would have been there. Strategy was on our side, and we were certainly making up some time. And then when those cautions came around, it allowed everybody to cool their tires, and we're kind of even at that point. But you know, solid day. Want more for sure, but we'll take it. And I'm looking forward to next week's test in Las Vegas. It's going to be big for the 48.
You mentioned the new rules, the new cars. Phoenix was always one of your sort of playgrounds. Do you walk out of here thinking, man, we're just a little off, or you, like you said, you just need a little bit more time?
Kind of both, just a little off and a little bit more time. You know, we were very focused at the end of 13 to close out 13 strong. You know, we didn't participate in the test sessions that took place at Charlotte Motor Speedway on the 2014 package, and we knew it would, you know, hurt us a little bit at the start of the year, and you know, there's a little bit of that there. But where we unloaded to where we raced, huge difference. Even qualified real nice. So we're definitely on the trail. We just need a little bit more time with the car.
Thanks, Jimmy. 48 making gains.
Well, Krista, the Penske car started the day first and second. They finished third and fourth. And Joey Logano, even Kevin Harvick was impressed with your restarts. Could you have done anything different just to gain a little bit of an edge?
I tried really hard. You know, with the new point structure, you know, the win means so much to get you in the chase. And you're sitting there third, and I knew my restarts were really good all day. I was really able to push them along, and you know, I wasn't sure I had enough to get 3 wide and go for it, but the last restart, I was like, you know, go for it. What do you got to lose? And you know, third place doesn't mean nothing these days. So you know, I shoved the Shell Penzo forward into the hole there, and just didn't work out, and that's how we lost this spot. We probably would have finished third if I didn't do it, but, you got nothing to lose. But overall, my team did great. They worked so hard this weekend, and, after the offseason, you work so hard, and you come out here, and you start 1-2, and you finish third and fourth. That means a lot. But I tell you, on the back of Kevin's car, it says, freaky fast. And they weren't lying. I put that on, I was like, wow, he is freaky fast as he drives away from me. So it's just such a fast car, but man, we'll just have to go back and figure out what he's doing. He was really fast here in the fall with an RCR car, so he's got something really figured out here and knows what he needs inside of his race car, and he's able to deliver. So I went to school behind him a little bit and learned a little bit, but I didn't have enough to beat him.
Joey Logano still going to school. Chris Myers?
Freaky fast and leaving the rest of the drivers with that achy, breaky disappointment. As Harvick is happy in Arizona in victory lane on the Sprint post-race show. We'll have more from Arizona in just a moment. The Sprint post-race show live from Phoenix, Arizona, where that's your winner, who was dominant in the desert. 38-year-old Kevin Harvick from Bakersfield, California, and with his new team in that 4 car. He came in first as we check the unofficial results here, and Joey Logano did lead 71 laps. He had kind of an interesting breakdown of chasing Harvick all day. Ryan Newman led 6 laps. Jeff Gordon led 4.
Yeah, a day of what might have been for Carl Edwards. He's the only driver to finish in the top 10 that started outside the top 20. He had a fast car, just couldn't make up the ground.
Matt Kenseth, who won in Vegas last year, where we're heading next weekend, hung around to finish 12th.
Tony Stewart, a hard-fought battle, finishes 16th. I think this proves that he's ready for the season with that bum leg.
Top finishing rookie was Kyle Larson from California at 20, and then Austin Dillon from the pole at Daytona. Some struggles here.
Yeah, he started 24th and finished 24th. Probably didn't feel like he made any ground, but I guarantee he learned a lot that'll help him go into Vegas.
And Danica Patrick caught up in a couple of missteps there and had a tire problem, and disappointment for Kurt Busch as well. 8 leaders, 14 different lead changes, rounding out the field. You could hear, and I know Dale Earnhardt Jr. said after Daytona, the prolonged racing intensity. I just wonder if that's how it's going to be, not just because of the rain. Well, we saw that in the late stages here, and the emphasis from all the drivers, Michael, forget about points day and where it's about winning, absolutely coming in first.
Don't you just love that? These guys are all about getting the checker flag, winning races. That's what it's about. Joey Logano said, I'm forcing my Ford down in that corner, trying to get that spot away from Harvick because I got to win. Dale Jr.'s passion and his energy for that win in Daytona was echoed here by Harvick. That's as excited as you get when you win one of these babies and you know more than likely you're going to be racing for a championship.
And the defending champ, Jimmy Johnson, said coming into this that this is the real test, this kind of racing in Phoenix. Next, we'll go to that 1.5 mile race, which is what most of the races are on. That'll be a different kind of test. We'll continue on the Sprint post-race show where Kevin Harvick is in victory lane celebrating here in Phoenix. There's owner-driver Tony Stewart going over to say hi to the crew and congratulate his longtime friend and the driver for his race team to get the first victory for Stewart-Haas Racing this year. And what have we seen, Michael, so far in the first 2 with a junior win and a Harvick win as we head to Vegas?
No, we just see a lot of passion for getting your car to victory lane, knowing that it's all about winning this year. NASCAR's done a lot of good things over 60 years. Putting more emphasis on winning is one of those.
Coming up tonight on Fox, Animation Domination, including The Simpsons and Bob's Burgers. Don't forget your local news. And for more on this race, Fox Sports 1 has victory lane at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. 2 races down, 34 to go. And next week we'll be in Vegas. Kevin Harvick, your winner here for our entire crew. Thanks for being a part of NASCAR on Fox.
Faces have changed. The cars, the numbers have changed. The speed, the technology, and the scale have changed.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
The heroes and the villains have changed.
Who's gonna win it?
Everything has changed.
I mean, this is the greatest day of my life.
Nothing has changed.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
NASCAR on Fox Sports 1 from Vegas all weekend long. Friday, it's Sprint Cup practice at 2 and group qualifying at 6:30. And Sunday, race day is live at 1:30. Coverage begins Friday at 2 on Fox Sports 1. And catch the Cobalt 400 Sunday on Fox.
We are